Oh.
Yo,
Yo. Mm-mm.
all right, go ahead.
Some other shit will go from there. But for sure, the coat of arms would be something we want to go into. That's actual visual evidence. So we want to stick with a lot of visual shit because obviously the visual shit just hit different, because it's visual. You could see it your damn self. You know what I'm saying? So
Shit sounds so smooth.
we learned about
Yeah.
Not even just
maybe learn about
actually
Ireland,
it, but the
impressed.
tone,
We'll just
like
do
my
some
tone
more
of voice and
research
shit.
around Europe
Like it's just so smooth, it's easy to follow.
and the colonies. I want to do
Yeah.
the colonies. So where's my marker?
That's what's most important with learning is the tone and shit.
The colonies. The royal line. Family. I don't know, something else though. Maybe the last names. But we're gonna stick with Scotland and we're gonna get into why we're doing Scotland. Because it's the most relevant.
And then when I edit it, I can cut out all
We're
the
sticking with
spaces and
Scotland
stuff,
and UK because it's relevant. Right
like
Yeah.
edit
now,
it down to where,
Right.
it's
I'm
flowing
Concise.
correctly.
American, so I'm focusing on my base, which is American blacks.
And it helps me get an
Right?
idea,
So
like I
now
said, what I'm
we're
saying,
gonna connect
messages and shit like that.
to the other black races. Why there's no such thing as black. I would call us the race project, but it's just the history project. No such race. I mean, there is a such race as black, and we're gonna get into that. But we're gonna get into what's the word I want to use? History. Antebellum history, I guess you could say.
The fuck?
start with Germany. Oh, this is all to prove, you know, not to prove without a shadow of a doubt. We're just gonna might have something else come up. Ain't that crazy how this shit just right in the way of my camera view?
This shit frozen or what?
Nigga, last night, the last, for instance,
Yo, Cam.
Nigga, why your damn shit so loud? Yo, Mike,
Nigga, that's how your shit sound too, nigga.
constructed this
I'm
system.
saying, why is it like that?
I don't know, just the screen share is just hella quiet.
Yeah, I'll just multitask.
The fuck?
So that way I could just browse while I'm
The
browsing.
fuck going on with my
What
shit?
what they got going on, and fucking do this shit too. But really, I already went to the dentist, so yeah. She just my shit was overfilled, so she did what she had to do for me. I said, bro, I'm so damn cynical. I was getting pissed. I'm like, these motherfuckers. But when you get around people, you realize they don't mean no harm.
I don't know why you don't got the one with the cam on there. That's all right. I might have to share my shit.
Yeah, they was talking some real shit last night. That shit was pretty. I wonder if this will fuck my shit up. Hold on.
It's gonna sound bad later. What's causing us from not being able to get to our loudness standards? What's causing Bill? They took things more seriously.
All right, let's see. So, King George.
Yeah, fuck that.
Deal with King George, so we went all the way from King George.
It shows you how important the visual aspect is to
All
or
the
some
way
shit.
find.
This might be the wrong shit as it is.
King Charles.
Ah, my shit got this shit. See?
On yours?
Yes.
Yeah, you might as well just, yeah, you do your shit. What the fuck? The fuck?
Just get into it. I mute my fucking self. I'm finna just share this on from my computer screen or something. It sounds like some bullshit.
Maybe the royal family, the last names, so the coat of arms, some other shit will go from there. But for sure, the coat of arms would be something we want to go into. That's actual visual evidence. So we want to stick with a lot of visual shit because obviously the visual shit just hit different, you know, because it's visual. You could see it your damn self. You know what I'm saying? So we learned about maybe learn about Ireland and their crest and stuff. We'll just do some more research around Europe. Maybe the last names. Training for a little bit.
We're working in 3 dimensions.
It's like niggas want you to invest in shit like, oh, just keep investing. You have to have interest. Oh, George the First, of course. Queen Anne. Is Anne Boleyn?
I think it's gonna start right here, pretty much.
All right.
This is how we find who's who. King George II. Who's his predecessor? Oh, George the First, of course. Queen Anne. Is Anne Boleyn? I don't know much about this era, but I know a little bit. It's not Anne Boleyn, is it? It's not Anne Boleyn. Cut that out. That's the thing, because that's the, well, you know, you can get into all of this, but that's the thing. We have to. There's so many people with so many different names. So we got Anne, predecessor. William III. King James II. Brother of Charles II. That's King James. Then okay, so we go from King, and we got King James VI. So we got. Let's do it like this. Stay in the back. James. We got Charles the First. Charles II. And then we know then we got James VII. He's not worried about who. EQ. Duh. Come on, man. I know this shit. William the Third. Mm. So William the Third is from Marion, Mary. The daughter of James the Second. How do we get to? And then we could put a little time stamp next to these people. So he was in the late 1600s. Is William who the third? Yeah. So Queen Anne. Comes from there. My bitch ass was on mute. Fuck. Now I gotta remember everything I was saying, but I was saying when I do it this way, this a bro. Don't respond either, because when you respond, it's gonna fuck it up. Just wait till I'm done. But actually, you can respond, but yeah, don't worry about it. But try not to if you don't have to. But it's better when I do it this way, because this way I can kind of compile and record the things that I learned from myself, and then
have that recorded and captured. Let's just use the word captured and have it captured, as well as the things that I'm going to show other people. So like when I get into like, oh, you know, what's the connection of Scotland and this, I might not necessarily be making a video on that, but it's me learning, and I can also capture my learning process. It just captures everything, having it all on one source. So then I can construct the narrative within that. So it's just a big capturing of all the work. And I say it's good because, you know, this is basically a way to let the work do itself, to where I can run around, capture it, or how I'm doing now, speaking over what I just found and just adding a commentary to everything, to where none of the work I'm doing is in naught. It's not a vain, because it's all being captured. And it's like, it's damn near automated. Like, it's the things we're doing is just now we have a structure or a platform to capture all the stuff we're doing. So it's like, we ain't got to worry about taking breaks or doing things. It's like the work,
into their hands and stuff like that. But
the work will do itself. And then we have an easier time of, you know what I'm saying? We're just collecting a lot of data,
We don't understand like
and we're just how we've been doing with everything anyway, is collecting a lot of data and putting it all in one source so that when we start constructing things, it's a lot easier. You know what I'm saying? And we're constructing our process, just like we're capturing everything is what I mean. We're capturing the process, we're capturing it all. So it's mobile. It's just living. It's living work. You know what I'm saying? And we have a framework and a database, an archive of all of this stuff that we're doing, and it's being captured and recorded. So we can just go, we don't have to remember what we did in this. I mean, we will have to, but it's a lot easier to, you know what I'm saying, use this as a reference. And we can add commentary. It's just like a living thing, to where it's just going to be like always moving. You know what I'm saying? So if I run to the store, I still can add commentary to what I'm saying, or we can have a conversation. You know what I'm saying? We don't have to go from one source of like, yo, we had a conversation. What did we say again? Then write it down, then make a video. You know what I mean? It's all stored in one source. So I think that's everything I said. So yeah. But yeah, you can respond if you want to. But I just meant when I talk, I don't know, for some reason when I talk, like your fucking voice come through the damn shit so damn loud, so crazy.
Yeah, compared to like the screen share thing.
It just sound crazy.
Oh, really?
I don't know what it is. Yeah.
But no, yeah, I feel you, because it could just be like you said, just something that you don't have to keep going back to. Okay,
Yeah,
I'm
you
gonna
don't have
make
to
a
use
video. I'm gonna
you don't
make
have to
it.
use different sources. Yeah, you don't have
Right.
to worry about, oh, I gotta hurry up and do this because I'm gonna forget this. It's just constant.
You already covered it, and you can. Yeah.
It's just living. Like even the conversation we're having now, I won't have to
Mhm.
remember it because it's being recorded.
Right.
You know what I mean? So I can refer to it. So I literally can walk around and do all of this. You know what I mean? We can walk around and do shit and just tap in whenever necessary, or you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Just start having stuff on the Zoom and having it compiled for us to be able to reference it whenever necessary.
Right.
You just look over it, and that's how you.
So what was you looking for on here?
So I started with the video. So I'm going to start with or I plan to, my idea was to start with that video. So that was a point I got to at the end of this video, is that this is like the pre-work, like the pre-production, I guess you could say, the prep work to me making a video, right? Or getting into, you know, the prep for the prep of a video, basically. So this is just me doing my research. You know what I'm saying? Let's say I have something I want to research so that I could do a video so that I can get in the topic. I'm actually capturing my recording process. I mean, my research process of me discovering the stuff, how I look it up. So that way I won't have to go in the video and be like, all right, this is how I found this. I can use this as a reference to either put in the video, or even if let's just say it's sloppy or it takes forever and I want to redo it, I don't have to remember off the top of my head how I found this, how I found that. I can use this as a reference to recreate the links that I made in my research in video form. So, oh, I found this, that, you know what I mean? I just captured the actual process. It makes no sense
once you know what these guys do,
for me to not record it, unless it's something, you know, there is stuff that I can remember off the top of my head, but this just helps, you know what I'm saying? This is just a system that helps. So I found a video that describes King George as ruddy and King George II as ruddy and black. You know what I mean?
Right.
And it goes and it connects. Well, let me pause this. And it connects with something I've actually found on my own time.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? So I wanted to know in real life how it correlated. So these are things that I'm still finding in real life, but I have the ability to capture my process of how I'm going to make the video, how I'm going to find the stuff, how I'm doing it in real time. And it's only going to aid what I'm showing people, because I don't want to come off like I just know this shit. I want to show people how to find it, how I found it. It's just I have to do a lot of research a lot of times, and I don't have a lot of time to sit down and, you know, or I get caught up doing other things. But let's just say I'm watching a video of King George. If I watch it on here, I can record my comments and my commentary to things I think in my head on this.
Mm-hmm.
And then I can take that recording, this recording, right, and add it to the video of me going home and researching the stuff. And it just builds and builds. And so by the time I get to the video, I have so much collective correspondent information, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
That it just makes, you know, because when you're making these videos, you're like, all right, how do I get this person to see how I got there and how I got there? You know, you want as much as you can.
Mm-hmm.
And a lot of the stuff I find on my own, you know what I'm saying? And then I go and I connect it and I do my own research before I even think of, you know what I'm saying? I have to know it myself. You know what I'm saying? So I'm still learning a lot of this stuff. So this is a good way to teach it while I'm learning it, or teach how I learn it. And that's a good way to teach while I'm learning it. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, I've learned enough, and I can cover a lot of topics over a recording. I could say, oh, boom, this is how I did this. And I could just go and I can just ramble and it's going to get connected. Versus if I'm making separate videos, I might get, you know what I'm saying? It's a way to not get off topic, right, and to connect everything, because it all is connected. You know what I'm saying? It's just, I don't have all the resources at once and one source and this and that, the third. But if I have a video platform where I can just fit, it's damn near like I can visually show me physically doing something. So it's just more efficient. You know what I'm saying? It's quicker for me to access this source, that source, yada, yada, you know what I'm saying? And communicate my idea of like, boom, okay. And then I could, you know, I have the visual, the evidence, the proof, the video to show me, hey, I already had this in my bookmark. Look, let me show you how I had it already. You know what I mean? I could go and I could show you exactly how I'm doing it and what I'm doing, and show you how I'm going forward in real time. You know what I'm saying? And if there's things that you can't see, I can just add a little commentary, you know, a vocal commentary to the visual demonstration, or, you know what I mean? Whatever I'm trying to show. And then just, you know what I'm saying? It just keeps on going and going and going. And it's very easy that way. Versus, all right, let me watch this video. Oh, let me take a screenshot of this. Or wait, I can't watch this right now because I'm not going to remember it. Then I got to go home and do the, you know what I mean? It's just ever. So I found more information. I'm always finding information. I'm glad this is recorded too, because I'm about to go on a damn tangent, or not a tangent, but I'm going to expound on what I'm saying. But it's hard to always remember these things and stay on topic and then go forward on what I was saying anyways, right? So that's what this resource helps me with, because I found a video of King George. You know, I'm finding this information. So sometimes when I'm bored, I just sit and I research this stuff. All right, I don't feel like doing nothing else. I'm maybe running errands. I don't want to watch stupid shit. Like, let me finally sit down and just put on a video. Oh, I'm so glad this is recording because I could just go on autopilot, bro, and just explain these things. But that's what I'm saying. That's the comfort that I have of doing this. But I'm like, let me play the video of the crest and this and that. But now with this, right, I can record my initial reaction and my commentary to what I'm finding instead of sitting there and having to write it down or call you or record our conversations while I'm calling you so that I can, you know what I mean? It's just a way to always ever so move in the direction of collecting all of this data and while performing the various tasks. And so it's just an automated system damn near, you know what I'm saying? This is like a fail safe. It's a capturing system of capturing the data, capturing the process. It's just recording everything we're doing so that when we show people how we did it, we have the real things, or even if we want to replicate it in video production, you know, whatever form, right, in a more efficient, constructive, like condensed format, you know, we still have the original references and we don't have to go dig back on, oh, remember we did this, remember I said this, what did I say that one? You know what I mean? I don't have to do that no more. So even just now, I'm explaining all this stuff, but it's going to be recorded, you know, in case I have to reference it. It's being captured. So I don't have to worry about if I'm going to remember it later or if you're going to, you know, it doesn't matter. I know I'm going to remember it, but are you going to remember it? Am I going to remember what I told you? You know what I'm saying? I know these things like the back of my hand, you know what I'm saying? So this isn't just about me. It's about me being able to communicate these things. So a video of King George, right? Or whatever. I might randomly, like right now, I'm just walking around, do what I got to do. Let's watch a video. I can retain the information. I can add my commentary. I don't have to go back and watch and say, oh, this is the part, or what's the name? You know what I'm saying? I can do that all on here, have it captured, and use it as a reference and a resource later. You know what I'm saying? To compile a different video, a comprehensive series, and all the pictures and things that I have. And I don't have to necessarily know who these people are at the time. I don't have, you know what I'm saying? I don't have to do all that because I could show people how I'm doing it. And then when I get done doing it, then for the outer world who doesn't want to be part of that process, or that I'm not comfortable with showing that process, or whatever the case may be, I can compile a comprehensive video that stands, you know what I'm saying, criticism. Like, look, I know for a fact that this is this person because I looked it up. This, or just like last night, how I'm showing Quan something, then I end up finding Charles Lennox. You know what I'm saying? And I'm going to show people how I did that. But I wish you know what I'm saying? But she's a little lazier to where she's not going to want to get on the Zoom. But it was more like practice. You know what I'm saying? All of this is bigger practice for the greater practice, because at the end of the day, I want to be able to know this shit off the top of my head anyways, or be able to show somebody right now, but we just don't have the time. It's just more convenient. That's the word. It's the convenience. It's a convenient system. So I'm still learning this stuff. So I'm finding new sources. But I also want to show people how I find those new sources. Look, I like how I can just ramble like this. You know what I'm saying? I could go 0 to 20 because I know, you know, it's going to be captured, and I could use this later, you know what I'm saying, to even explain how I find my sources. And a lot of times there's a way for me to hear myself and organize my process and to rebrand them or reorganize how I'm going to present things. But I find stuff all the time on the internet, right? So this is basically to answer the question, how do you find this stuff? How do you know this? Well, let me just show you how I do it. You know what I'm saying? Literally. And I'm going to take all the raw files of me doing it, and I'm going to compile a narrative from my perspective of how I feel like people should learn it. And I'm going to use my own references of me finding this stuff and my own commentary. So it's going to be like, nigga, a big comprehensive compilation of just research, data, and teaching. So, but I'm also presenting myself as somebody who doesn't know a lot of this stuff, but I found a lot of this stuff. So it's now, this is going to be more authentic and genuine for somebody our age of, all right, boom, how do I show somebody? You know what I'm saying? So it's either a training, or if I have to show my parents, look, this is the real video of me. Look, I'm not making this up. You know what I'm saying? This is how this is how easy it is. This is how hard it is. This is what you have to do. So instead of me having to sit and give a breakdown on how to do these things, it's just going to be a live demonstration damn near. You know what I'm saying? But it's not going to be a live one, not at least right now, because I'm, you know what I mean? I don't have the time to do shit live. But this is just a framework. This is just a concept, a proof of concept towards that. And it's not even about me doing it live, because I don't want to do it live. I want to rap. I want to do other things. But let's just say I want to wake up and post a video of me doing something. And you know what I mean? It's just the creation of a new process. You know what I'm saying? So, and we've done this before, but it's just like now, you know what I'm saying? I have a lot of the resources. I have a lot of more time to spend on things that aren't school and yada, yada. So this specifically, I'm really just trying to learn about, you know, I'm just trying to confirm the identity of, I'm just learning the history of the American Blacks. You know what I'm saying? I'm going as far as into the reference. So we're starting with colonial America. We're starting from now going backwards. So to colonial America, to the Jacobites and all, you know, all the stuff I found. I'm just connecting it all. So then I'm finding the crest. Eventually, I'm going to get to the Byzantine Empire. I'm going to get into the races of the earth, the different kingdoms and things like that. So I just stick with stuff that I'm interested in, you know, that I know will shock most people because it's more relevant. Like to the American Blacks, it's more relevant. Okay, Europe is more relevant because we have a European influence and we're in a European country, basically. You know what I'm saying? So I found information that shows, that confirms American presidents to be Black. So then we have to trace them back to what? Colonial America, back to what? That period in England. You know what I'm saying? The monarch of England. And you know what I mean? Then trace the monarch in England back to stuff that I say, you know, oh, I did. And then that's when I connect and say, oh, I know this is true. It's just like having a conversation. I know this is true because I found Philip II. And oh, remember I did an Instagram post of Philip II. Oh, boom. I also, you know, it's all these things I found back when I was young in this. And now I have more. And so now I'm connecting it. So it's like taking a person along my journey. You know what I'm saying? So it's a series of saying like, look, come with me. I found enough to where I can bring you with me. Instead of me just giving you a class, come on, let's do the research together. Let's do a deep dive series. You know what I'm saying? And then boom, let's connect it to this TV show. Let's do the research. These are all things if you want to do it, and then they're going to connect to my other series. So basically, I found out George Washington was Black, right? And then I found out King George was Black. And then I have a lot of these books that I found, but I haven't had enough time to go through them. But now I have the connection. So I've found that Virginia Colonial Soldiers book before, but now I know what it's in reference to: the American Revolutionary War or the American War of Independence and yada, yada. I know the time frame now. I know the figure. So now that I know George Washington is Black and his soldiers are Black, I know there's Black presence around that time for sure. So I know where to look, the scrolls of York and then I'll show you all that stuff, the muster rolls, you know what I'm saying? And we'll look up what is a muster roll, you know what I'm saying? And things like that. So yeah, I'll get more into it as I leave the house, you know what I'm saying? But I'm gonna play it. But King George, I found out King George is Black. And King George goes back. I wanted to know what was the link between King George and King James. You know what I'm saying? Because we know for a fact, I know for a fact that I found the Jews are Black because the Spaniards were Black, because I found, you know, the work of John Mackey. And that's what I'm going to make my video on, of how I'm connecting John Mackey. And then I'm going to get into I'm just going to basically show people how I'm linking the new stuff that I found with stuff that I've already found, and how I know for a fact what I know and how I know these things. You know what I'm saying? Fuck what somebody told me. This is how I found this shit. This is how I know it. You know, so I know King Philip and all of these things, and Carlos, you know what I'm saying? Charles V, you know what I'm saying? I know they're black because I found that my damn self,
Right.
you know? And so not just pictures, but also books, you know what I'm saying? So, and paintings, you know? So, and then last night, you know what I'm saying? I found this new process of finding people on your damn own,
Mm-hmm.
you know, of looking up, you know, figures and then going through the drawings and stuff like that. You know what I'm saying? The paintings and stuff like that, the descriptions. And so I wanted to link King George to, I wanted to take King George the Third, and I wanted to know where does he fit as far as Europe, the Holy Roman Empire, Charlemagne, slavery, you know, um, the Spanish, that whole area, things that I found. I wanted to connect that to that, because if these are all the same, you know what I'm saying? If these people are linked and it is what we think it is, there should be links. And surprisingly, you know, and I know there are links, but I just wanted to be authentic of, you know, how I found it. I'm just capturing it. So King George III to King George II, then yada yada, then yada yada yada, then yada yada yada, you know? So I was studying the line of King George III all the way up, because this guy has a video that's going to show us that King George is ready. He was described as ready. So we're going to get into what ready means. Then we're going to get into how I found out what the word ready means, and then the debate among what is ready and how I understand that and how I got into that, and Adam and things like that, and what are the, you know what I'm saying, and how do we know these things, and where did I learn it, you
Mm-hmm.
know? And so just shit like that. So he goes all the way back. I go all the way back from King George all the way up, you know what I'm saying, until the Moors. And then I say, okay, that's a whole different line of, you know what I'm saying, that's a whole different dynasty.
What? Just like when you're watching a TV show,
And I'm
Power,
gonna
right?
explain it in here.
It's just a recount of events.
Also, yeah, let me bring that back, because what I was saying explains.
And that's where we get American War of Independence.
Oh yeah, so let me go back actually. So yeah, as I start, I find the video of King George II, his description, because I found on my own the description of King Charles. So here I'm just going through, because I have the records of the Jacobites and things like that. So we want to know, I wanted to know who's related to who and how are we getting from where to where. And what's so crazy is I already knew this is by design too. Recording the process of me doing it is showing not only how I done it, but now I actually know these things because I sat down and I did it. And I wasn't worried about writing everything down necessarily, because I knew it was being recorded, and anything that I skipped over, I could go back and watch. You know what I'm saying? So I'm gonna just let it run.
It's just like niggas want you to invest in shit like, oh, just keep
And
it.
I'll just add commentary when necessary, because even this is being recorded. So any questions you have or any comments, just say it, because you're gonna, you know, this is just, you know, the scrolls per se of it. You know, this is the transcript, damn near, the archive. So you'll be able to go and hear if you want to show, you know what I'm saying? You're able. So I'm able to do the research, and you'll be able to do your own research and show other people when they ask you, oh, how do you know this? And then you could show them me doing, you know what I mean? It's like a cell effect.
All right, let's see. So
It's genius actually, but it's a moving, living thing, because you know we're
we don't
to
want
do
to
this
go from
research for what
source
we're doing in our brand and our life, but we also have,
all the way from.
you know, we're just being innovative. You know how we do everything.
We want to
Exactly.
find King Charles.
and I get to listen to myself and review the videos and review the information to where it's burned. So it's like my own way of schooling myself and everyone else. It's like schooling, it's like training myself to train others while creating a product. You know, it's just overall. I don't even got to worry about, oh, if I'm saying too much, because I know it's going to be captured. Sometimes I'll be like, damn, I'm talking too much. I'm not going to remember this, but no, I can't.
What's his predecessor?
And we can actually take the clips of me talking.
Of course. Queen Anne. It's Anne Boleyn. I don't know much about this era, but I know a little bit. It's not Anne Boleyn, is it? It's not Anne Boleyn. Cut that out. That's the thing, because that's the, well, you know, you can get into all of this, but that's the thing. We have to. There's so many people with so many different names. So we got Anne, predecessor, William III, King James II, brother of Charles II. That's King James. Then okay, so we go from King Charles, Charles the First, and then we got King James the Sixth. So we got. Let's do it like this. Stay in the back. James. We got Charles the First, Charles the Second, and then we know and we got James the Seventh. Don't worry about who. EQ. Duh. Come on, man. I know this shit. And we got William the Third. So William the Third is from Marion, Mary. The daughter of James the Second.
So that's the good thing too, right? Is like any motherfucker that's watching can see my process of me going in and finding that shit. You know what I'm saying? I lose track.
And then we could put a little time stamp next to these people. So he was in the late 1600s. It's William who the third. Yeah. So Queen Anne. Comes from there. Then you got George the First. hours a second. Well, now we got Ireland and Great Britain, so this is where they roll over. We'll get into how that got into their hands and stuff like that, but we're gonna get down to the nitty fucking gritty. Any place we don't understand, like Hanover, we're just gonna, that's how you look up and um, you understand these places. Comprehension or understanding. Let me think. But yeah, when we look over these places, like these actual, all these locations and shit, you just look over it, and that's how you add that to your understanding. Then we get George the Third, right? And then that's where we get American War of Independence. So once you start caring, once you know what these guys do and what the part they play in history, then you start caring who's what, and it helps you correlate who's who and what's what and why it matters. It simplifies. Then you know who's such and such sister. The army. You'll know the main figures. That's just me getting into history, and just that's all it is. And if this stuff is real, which it is, the accounts of real things, who did what. Just like when you're watching a TV show, Power or anything, it's just a recount of events.
Just gonna do that live for you guys. Okay. All this sound good? All this making sense? Cool. Yes, Robert says yes. Yep, yep. Yep, yep. We're gonna show you truly that volume is everything here. It's the first 80%. Okay. Setting yourself up. Let's dive in. Let's do it. So first, walkthrough of the layout of the session. Let's take a look at this. So this is the arrangement window. And this is the track with the disgusting tambourine that we gave Dane to master yesterday. These are the multis. This is how I've got it laid out. And actually, it might be nice.
Oh, he's got the stems.
So I've got a couple kick tracks sent to a kick bus here. I've got a couple snare tracks, snare top and a snare bottom sent to a snare bus.
I'm gonna prove that
I've
these
got tom
motherfuckers
high,
was
tom
black,
low,
man.
ride, overheads, a drum room.
But we have evidence. It's not about us proving that these people are black. It's about showing the evidence, proving that we found evidence that these people were described as black. Sorry. That's the thing too, knowing your narrative and knowing your goal and not getting caught up in doing what other people want you to do so that you can objectively accomplish what you want to accomplish. What was this, George? The first gotta be. So we want to go all the way back to King James 1611 because that's what we're trying to prove. And even beyond that, but let's just stick with King James in Germany. The Queen Anne. Daughter of William III. So somebody that's like me, that's not keen to the UK. We want to know the physical connection between Ireland and Great Britain, and we also want to know the historical. We want to know that connection because we're not from over there. We've never been over there, so we want to know what's the distance, what's the terrain. We want to know everything. That's how we learn shit like that as people who are not from there. Who is Queen? And so that's Scotland and Ireland. So I want to know as somebody that's American and teach what's the difference between England, Scotland, and Ireland, or England and Great Britain. You know, we know it's the United Kingdom, so we got to understand what that meant and why that took place. Those are things that we're gonna get into, the little details. So.
Yeah, and guys, I'm not going to go into drum replacement in this lesson here. You can just Google that or YouTube that. The tool that I like to use is Trigger from Steve just what I want you to take away here is the high level concept that you can do this kind of stuff, right? Drum replacement. I did the same thing for these toms here too. Example. That's the replaced sound, and then the original. So observe, like, let's observe this for a second, right? That tom, boom, 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 boom. Lots of bleed happening here. You can hear all the other pieces of the kit. That tom is dull, right? There's some kind of like, there's some lower end kind of buildup happening there too. And then the replacement. Hear the difference there? Original. Replacement. Right? Much cleaner, eliminating all the bleed.
We want to get the actual year, not even just the period. We want to get the year when we get down into the nitty gritty.
Just gonna be so much easier to work with.
Because years is going to make so much more sense when we going into reading certain things. So
get this right with proper recording technique and proper sound selection. But in our case here, we had to do a little bit of editing. Did the drum replacement.
and don't forget about Mary II because she's actually the daughter of King James II or the 7th, depending on where you're talking about. And right where we get 7th and 2nd is from, you know.
Yo, and that's how you know how we get from Scotland
nations and provinces
to England, you know what I'm saying, to Ireland, you know what I'm saying?
James.
Who's married to who? I even went up to all the way to how Spain got involved.
In Ireland. The 7th.
Austria.
Scotland, because you know the Scots.
You know, and all that stuff can be explained because that's all generally the same area, how it's getting divided up in the kingdoms and how the wars start. But once you know the people and the line they come from, it's way easier to, you know, once you know the individual king. It's different than conventional history that you learn in school where, oh, they were fighting over this and they were fighting. No, we just want to know really what was going on.
Mm-hmm.
We don't give a fuck about memorizing names and shit. We don't want to memorize anything. We want to know the shit. We want to break it down. We want to stick to what's important, what affects today, you know, and we want to know the truth. The truth is always more interesting than the lie. That's why history in school don't be making fucking, it don't stick with niggas because it don't make sense. It don't got shit to do with nothing because it doesn't gel together with what's going on today. You know, you might hear some, you know, you ever heard somebody talking and it's like, yo, what the fuck that got to do with what I'm thinking about?
King Charles. So we actually know, we know these were black men. You know what I'm saying? I've proven it. So
I just wanted to touch on too.
King Charles the First. This is to not just show that King James.
It's also going to help too if I want to make like a quick take or a quick hits video for my Instagram.
This time period and in Europe and before that, but just sticking to this.
Damn near a commercial or a promo or something for something I'm going to do. Like, look, bitch ass niggas. Look what I found last night, nigga. Video coming soon, nigga. And I just got a format to where like some shit I did last night, I could have just made a video, you know, but I still got to find my format.
The artwork, everything, you know, allegorical work.
I don't got time to sit around and do 100 takes and camera angles and
another reference or source, another event. So then we get to my man, King James.
Or you go to police. Police posted up, right? Chill.
I believe what. And he got it from Elizabeth the First. Right. So Anne Boleyn is way before
See,
Queen
and that's the
Anne.
moment when I found out who Anne Boleyn was.
You know what I'm saying? I didn't want to sound stupid saying Anne Boleyn, but she's a queen, but she's from 200 years before.
And I'm just being authentic and genuine of me. Just, I literally didn't know. I heard of her, but I don't know. I know she's a queen, but
Let's just make another.
I'm like, where the fuck do we get Boleyn? But it's a whole different King Anne, different time period, which I figured.
Even when I write this stuff down, I'm not really going to even need it, but I like to write it because when you write things, your mind connects it.
But when you don't know history, you don't know the difference between 400 years, you know?
Right.
It creates it as a real thing. When you're writing it, you're creating a concept of your mind and you're etching it, you're drawing it to in your mind. You won't write something until you pretty much understand it. It's just a way to track concepts of our mind. Oh man, history is great. I told y'all I was gonna be ready for this. It's what you gotta do. What you have to do when you do great things like me. I'm doing a series, so I just gotta do it all the way, take it all the way. So these are the things you're gonna do when you apply yourself. This is the way I do shit. This is the way you should do shit. Just what's required. And I'll get into that aspect of some I learned, just that part of life. I just trace that back to where I learned it in history of my era of, it's like I have my era, my own things to teach the things I know, and I'm a figure of history damn near. So I got things that I can teach other people as well that I've learned that have worked. So that's something we can all do. So I'm gonna go Elizabeth the First, right? We're going upward now. Right. King Philip II of Spain. So
My boy.
is this the so we gotta understand how.
And so you can hear my real thought process of,
So we got another Charles the
you
First.
know, of me connecting the information.
So that's all. Charles the Fifth.
And I know what things to cover.
Charles the Fifth. Charles. So we know
Because
for
I
a
know
fact Charles the
what
Fifth
I'm wondering,
is black.
so
Show y'all.
I know what I need to explain to other people.
Carlos Quinto. I gotta prep for this. Charles the Fifth.
No, Philip II is black.
Right, we got Charles the Fifth. And that's where you get Joanna.
Even to go with
Aragon. That's where you get the Habsburgs. Okay. Charles the Fifth is when? The 1500s? We're gonna get some literary shit too. We're gonna get some videos. It's gonna be good. So where do we get Elizabeth the First?
the fifth, responsible for what? The slave trade.
From Philip II. We're gonna date it to know which way. So Philip II is after Charles the First. just following Spain. We got Queen Elizabeth. How do we get to Elizabeth? This from Philip, right? So his father is Charles V. So how do we get to Elizabeth I? The daughter of Henry VIII. Who was his mother? So we got to get from Elizabeth I. Right, her Elizabeth I in 1558 to 1603. Right, never mind the year. And that reign goes from who? God. Her father is Henry VIII. And that's when we got a discrepancy because I'm not understanding how we get from Henry VIII to Elizabeth I. We got Edward. Bloody Mary. That's how we start getting these people. That's when they, okay, they start splitting up the kingdom. So you got Henry VIII, and he's got Henry, who this has got to be the ninth. Yep, Henry or Edward. Six. Interesting. We gotta denote what they ruled, because we're gonna go in there and organize. This shit ain't hard, man, once you start putting a place to the name. To the name of saying all this. So this dude died at 15 years old. And we're gonna put the house they belong to, the Tudor. That's the royal line. So we got the Tudors right here. So then we know, okay, how it's gonna start. Okay. He was of England and Ireland. That monarch. We get the Irish. There's the connection between the Irish, Scots. Go back to this. This nigga has so many wives. That's why. I remember this, the one cutting bitches' heads off. You had Anne Boleyn. And that's how you get so. And okay, so Queen Elizabeth got it from Henry VIII to her mother Anne Boleyn. She's the first wife. Wow, so there was a lot of bullshit going on, right? Because she was betrothed to Henry Percy. Wow. Okay, so there goes a lot. So she was the second wife. So that's where you get the inheritance. See, this stuff goes way back. You know, this is where you get it, man. Mind you, these people, whether you believe in the scriptures or not, these people adhere to the scriptures, and that's what's important. That's what ruled this world. So people want to deny the validity.
Yo.
At the end of the day, this is historical.
Yeah. Get set off. Make this damn steak.
Gonna challenge the authority of shit too.
Yeah, this is gonna help connect people with the idea of the Spaniards, you know what I'm saying? Spaniards, Holy Roman Empire, you know, basically all of the things are relevant to today. You know, Holy Roman Empire, slavery, slave trade, the colonialization of the Americas.
Wow.
It's going to answer a lot of questions.
There had to be some going.
That's why I'm starting with that.
Catherine,
it's the most relevant to where we are right now.
Or his sister, what?
As far as modern history, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Once we could trace who these people are, right, in comparison to what, you know, then we can go start going backwards.
We got Philip the First.
But this shit truly is like a puzzle piece. Like a big puzzle.
A history lesson like this. This is just me reading it. Philip the First.
That's how you know it's a lot based in prophecy and things like that. Certain people aren't going to be able to add these pieces together. You know what I'm saying? They're just plain and simple. They're not.
You got Philip the First. You get Charles That's how we get Philip.
Holy shit.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm gonna do some more probably tonight, but yeah, you should be able to you know, follow along with this, watch, you know what I'm saying? You basically just see how I get from King George. I'll probably go from King George all the way up and then connect it with some coat of arms, just some ancillary things that just come to my mind. Pictures of Philip II. You know what I mean? This is a good way for me to compile. Now I have like a skeleton or a structure to apply a lot of the loose end things that I've found, and somebody's gonna be able to follow along. You know what I mean? Well, okay, I found Philip II, but who is that? You know what I mean?
Why was she the mad?
And I can not only explain it, but I can get into detail as I'm learning myself. And I can just add an overall my narrative of like why I find certain things interesting, or you know, why this matters to me. And you know what I'm saying? And how I'm connecting things that other people, you know what I'm saying? It's going to make sense as far as FOF and Lanston and yada yada.
Right.
Joe, man, so we got to keep these now we got to start keeping up with
Man.
these kingdoms of Castile.
It's like, bro, what? How the
of
fuck?
Habsburg.
These
What?
pictures are outrageous.
The ones they have?
Yeah.
Yeah, bro. Wait, I'm gonna do some shit on that. You know what I'm saying? I'm gonna show y'all how I found okay, and that's another thing. I'm glad we're recording too. I'm gonna keep saying this because I'm so, you know, because a lot of times I'm like, let me settle it. But no, I'm glad we're recording because this is all gonna be captured. I'm gonna keep saying that. But these are things that I spit off the top of my fucking dome. You know what I mean? But check this out. How the fuck? You know what I'm saying? All right, yeah, let's just get into that. We have a lot of knowledge on that. But even as they're getting to these pictures, but that's going to be the hard part, is going in there, or the not hard part, but the tactical part is going in there and showing people that even if, for one, we know these people are black, but two, even if you didn't believe that they were black, how the hell are they coming up with these depictions of these people?
Yeah.
And why? Because they don't match the written descriptions.
Mm-hmm.
They're not even close. So
Right.
once we can show that these people have a lot of artistic license and they will just make people look in the likeness and the image of however they want, that decredifies them, and that loosens the authority, right?
Right.
This is what the debate is going to be about. How do you have the authority to assert that? Well, I have the evidence. So what makes me better than a British scholar from the, well, I'm objective. Who are they connected to? What is their narrative? What is their agenda? You know, or what is their method? And is there, or what is their theory? Are their theories connected to a belief system? Is that belief system connected to an agenda? Is that agenda connected to a group or an overall political interest? You know what I'm saying?
Right.
And that's how we get into, you know, uncovering what is what, who is what, who's saying what and why, and who's telling the truth, or who's more believable,
Mm-hmm.
or who's more genuine and honest. You know, because just like that picture, I'm gonna show you some shit with that Charles Lennox, right?
Mm-hmm.
Is I looked them up and I was like, what the fuck? But then I found, so you know, the little white boy, the Esau, the Edomite that's in there, right? They have that as him, and they have a bunch of pictures of just that. But then I found the original source, and it had the black boy in there,
Right.
and I said, that's him. So these people are so, that's how you know the Most High is not dealing with these people, because they're so dumb. They tried to say that was just a page, meaning, you know, a black boy from another family that they raised as royalty or something like that.
Mhm.
So Cicero
You know, which you did have pages, but it was in the reverse. You know what I'm saying? You're not gonna have this. Like I say, I didn't want to type all that because I know I got a video, and I didn't want to spoil it, or I didn't want to promote. I don't want to slant things too much on my Instagram because I want to attack people completely objectively. I don't want to, you know, it's just like with the mixing shit. I want objectivity.
Right.
You know, I want you to see that this is not just my vain opinion.
Mhm.
You know, yes, this is my opinion, but it would probably be your opinion too had you seen what I seen.
Right. Exactly. Exactly.
Or if you see just the information present
Mhm.
that I found. And that's out there because there's stuff out there that other people have found that I haven't even looked at, but I'm just like, what if this says what they say,
Mhm.
you know, we got a lot of, you know,
Done.
this is groundbreaking,
Mhm.
you know, and so that's what history and research is about. It's not about, oh, I'm coming up with my own theories. You got your own theories, but what does the evidence say collectively? You know?
Iberian Peninsula, so Spain. So these are the Spaniards. John the Second. And that's how we get all the way down to Philip the First and Philip the Second. So that's a whole separate thing.
Some people gonna be surprised to find a lot of shit that I found.
all the way,
You know, you know, once you start seeing how easy this evidence that I'm providing lays out, and you see the connections versus what I'm saying and what they saying, you know, you're gonna see which one seems more fathomable and closer to the truth.
Mhm.
Because yeah, I'm even gonna pick apart some of my sources that confirm some of the stuff. I still gotta throw out the bones.
That's what we want to know.
But a lot of people, a lot of lies, right? The best lies have what? A segment of the truth involved.
Mhm.
And a lot of times these lies are people who just
was ready.
want to confirm things because
Oh yeah, so
they don't want to accept what is actually true on the other end of the research. So they get so far, but then they start leaving certain stuff out,
Mhm.
and it warps their whole narrative.
But see, that's how we get here naturally. It's so
Where they start making correlations where there are none, and making conjecture in the place of facts and empirical data. So it's like, you know, now if you have there's a way to make assertions and hypotheses and things like that, but then when you start adding too much shit, your credibility goes away.
Ferdinand was the son of who?
Right? Because if your theory is true, in theory, all you gotta do is find the data that supports it.
Split that up. So John the First. I don't even need this no more. You know, this is just notes.
So
But I do need it, but this is just to get us here. So John the First. Man, and this gets into all this Spanish and San Antonio.
I found
yada, yada, like,
a lot of pictures of a lot of people.
The Spaniards were black, man. I try to tell you.
I'm gonna show people. Now, do we know? Some of them we know they're real. Some of them we don't know. Some of them you can tell. Some of them you can't tell.
Show ancestors. Yep. So John the First.
But we know the written word.
Just do it like this. So he comes from Henry the Second.
You know, these diaries, these things that they didn't quite change. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
Because they didn't, you know, and that's what chronicles say. Like, if you just look at it, you can suspect, right, that when they did this a long time ago, they didn't. If things would have went according to the plan, niggas would never been able to read. But things didn't go according to plan.
We'll see what,
so
and that's where you
we got access to the internet.
Over.
And
right, and you make sense of it. So let's add that. So they were having wars.
certain laws were passed down, right?
Fought over
Like
what was the dispute.
they had to pass down the idea that
Like,
we're
the
dumber
reason
than them.
is how we make sense
So
of history.
if you teach a child a lie,
Wars, why was the war
he
fought
now operates on the lie.
between the brothers?
So instead of him
Who was
understanding
in
the
wrong, who
enemy,
was in the right?
Mm-hmm.
We'll see,
he underestimates us.
right?
So, oh yeah, I mean, our ancestors told us you niggas was this and that. Well,
You know
they
what
knew who we
issue
were.
was, and we'll make our own.
They just letting y'all believe that
Wrong. You never know. So you got Peter.
because they hoping one day we'll never find out who we are.
Depending on who.
But that's just vain hope.
Wow, he was excommunicated by the Pope. But where the hell is this going on? Oh, Castile. So
Really, the only thing you can do, all right, to maintain your rulership is say, son, whatever you do, they keep firing them missiles. They'll never make it up here. They don't have the artillery. You know, because if you tell your son, look, son, I'm about to die,
so this is
so
all
that likely means you are too.
these are all just different parts of Spain.
You're too young to defend yourself, so just surrender. No, you don't do that. You tell them a lie. You give them enough hope and enough information that hopefully,
to give further context,
you know, they can fight off whatever's coming.
today, and it's gonna make
So these people, they know we coming
today,
because they know the spirituality of the things they find. You know what I'm saying? Just like I know to speak on that, I know the spirituality of the Most High because I'm finding all this history and I'm like, yo, this is like a movie.
Spain.
You know, my former life doesn't even feel real now. It feels like I was in a whole, like my past feels like a dream, and this feels like I'm waking up out of a sleep.
And that'll go into the Aboriginals of Iberia, and that'll all make sense now. But we want to get
So I have to learn to forget my old self and to learn my new self. It's like the old me was used as a reference
trying to present myself as somebody who knows
to build the new me.
Don't know all this stuff. I know a little bit of these things. I know enough to know what they taught us isn't adding up. So we want to get to where how we get.
You know, I went through so much in their world to understand that in my world, I don't need to be nothing like I once was.
Peter the Just, Alfonso, and he was one-eyed. One-eyed.
All right, because we grew up under the rule of what? The Caucasians, who aren't even really Caucasians.
So we got Alfonso. So they show the whole. No, they're just showing ancestry. No, where the fuck does he come from? I mean, come on, we already see what's going on here. Oh yeah, come on, we already know what's going on here. Ferdinand. So now I'm gonna start knowing who these guys are when because I find a lot of these things, and I know the kingdoms a little bit to the area, but I don't know the direct correlation enough to explain it away or to know this. Oh, Sancho, I seen Sancho. They found Sancho. So this is all in the 1200s. So Alfonso. So this is all what? How we start getting back to that area. Ferdinand III. Then we get to she was the wife of King Alfonso. Got it from Henry the First. Wow. Henry of Castile. So they found this nigga's body. Wow, so that's how that woman got it. His sister got the throne and passed it to his son. So that's still from the same sea line of the father of Alfonso. So we'll keep up with that stuff too, of how it was passed down. And that's how you can trace the sea lines and whether these are rightful sea lines and genetics and So we got Sancho the Third. Come on, bro. Alfonso. Niggas
That's
like
why I believe everything in America has got so dumbed down,
that's a royal
just so you
name.
could really
Like
see
that.
who.
Sancho. Alfonso. Wow.
Is an idiot or not.
Uraka. What? You can clearly see this is a damn black woman. Alfonso.
Shoot, that's a lie.
Oh, come on, man. When we
Huh?
start getting into
I
this,
said that's lying, if
remember
anything.
this is all
Now,
still Castile. So Spain, this is all
What?
Spain we still talking about.
King of Leon.
My shorty said she wanted to go to Spain. I said,
You
yo,
say
we
King
gotta
what?
go.
Of
I know
Leon.
it goes through Philip II, right?
Mm,
So we're
That's
gonna work our
lying.
way up, and we know what Philip
yeah.
II looks like. We found Philip II, so we're gonna connect all of that and get into the idea of descriptions and things like that. Or what I think or what I found Philip II looked like. So we're starting to get a little narrative, a little idea of where we're going.
All of this stuff is in the area where, you know, Spain and stuff,
Alfonso V.
like Castile and stuff, that's Spain. Oh, I'm saying, man, I'm already getting back on my Espanol.
Sancho.
Yeah.
Sancho the Fat.
You're in the center. I'm gonna leave them there. I might spread them out
900 years after Christ. That's it.
with some spatial processing later. I might experiment
So
with
we're
that.
gonna get into whether a lot of these were mulattoes and da 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 and stuff I've heard. That's just what I heard. So we're just gonna go with what I've heard, what we can prove, what we can show, and what we know. So,
But
yeah, I
yeah,
can't wait to
the
get
reason I'm doing it
into
like
that.
this is
But
because
we
I
can. This is
found
all
some
we
stuff
speak,
that's
man.
gonna go
Look,
into a whole nother
El
direction.
Ramiro. This look like a damn
So
Peru if I ever seen one.
I'm gonna have to do a lot of learning.
Sometimes these
I
people
know
be
it's gonna
saying
do a
like,
lot of confirming the things I
yeah,
found. So
look, man, they
I
be
wanted to
making
make a
shit up.
format to where
Why is his face white and eyes? And maybe we'll get into
I
that
could
in different
learn, but
areas.
still also guide others learning.
Austria, so I don't know where that is. Conquest of Iberia, so same area. Alfonso the third as it would make sense, and then we'll get into certain things that make sense of like just common sense shit. Same name, same area. You would think it was just passed down. Yeah, we'll look at maps for sure. But we'll go to how to just common sense research, man. From a brute perspective, from a nigga like me, and how I get my credibility, common sense from me, and how I get the things that I get. Whatever, however great one may esteem
Well,
me
they
that
say
be,
content is the new currency.
or Donio. So we can go into these Spanish and these names and terms we use today, man, and it goes all the way back.
So now that we have now the difference is what from then and now is everybody is having more access to
Beautiful. When we go, oh man,
the technology.
Spain, Jersey, we could
Like
do a
people
lot
have
of shit
had
with this.
talents, but
Right.
you weren't gonna have this technology at your fingers,
Hmm.
so it could be used for good or bad. So that's where we at the age of like a battle. Every instance, you got somebody using this shit for some bullshit, but for profit. But if you understand that, there's an opportunity to provide somebody with healing. That's why you become a doctor, because doctors get paid well.
Mm-hmm.
Everybody needs them.
Mm-hmm.
This is where we get to sheesh, and then the Bible is gonna give us the answers for the rest of this, right? Of like what happened to that area. You got the like you got the Greeks and all. This is 700 years later, but it's not that far off. Alfonso the First. Wow.
So now that I did my first little shit, you know what I mean? Took me a little couple hours, you know,
Fucking black, right?
a night and a day.
They always black. That's what we got.
But now I'm prepared to either do some history or record or do something else, you know?
Right.
About what I think is about what we could figure out.
I got to set up a format, you know, that's what I'm trying to tell y'all. Y'all got to get in the habit of doing these things. You know, I'm giving y'all a blueprint.
We got a whole different king.
Just apply it.
Australianese dynasty.
You know, if you want to come up with your own blueprint after that, then that's cool. But at least apply what I, you know what I mean? At least take what I'm giving you.
Small mountain.
And try it.
To dominant powers in Spain. So.
Because you'll find your blueprint from doing, you know? I'm taking it out of your head.
So this is the first monarch, the first king. Look, it's credited with initiating the Reconquista, the conquest of the Iberia from the Moors. So he took this from the Moors. We got to get into what that term a Moor means too, right? The Moors. Why, you know, we got to get into why are Moors, why is the term Moor referred to black people? Who are the Moors? What is a Moor? So, you know, this guy, Pelagius. Okay, so we're gonna start here when we want to get into that.
This steaky.
Whatever leads.
Steaky, yummy.
To the Moors now.
Ooh, steaky. I'm going to steak. Mommy, I got some steak.
You got the term endonym, like
That's how my son gonna be.
Now it's a continental definition.
Like fucking James the Ninth. What the fuck?
It's a non-native name. So with some
Your cop, shut the.
we're going to keep. We're building. We're learning things. You know what I'm saying? We're going to keep it true and. Transparent on how
they're gonna be like, yo, what is he? My son gonna be 5 and know how to make steak.
Be covert of how we're. The Berber tribe.
They garlic butter.
Major.
You put that garlic. The garlic on that steak.
Man, you put the garlic in a steak and put it in the oven. I'm telling you.
Right? Which we can go in there and figure out. Okay,
Man,
so
that garlic, a little butter.
Of who these people are, right? We got that shit too.
That shit hit the spot. Then it's like, yeah, that shit hit the spot.
Then it was later
Bro,
I was like,
oh.
Arabs, and we're going to get
You got costly.
Islam and what's an Arab and who the real, you know. During the colonial area, you had the Ceylon Moors.
man.
Listen, man, we don't care about none of this
With
shit.
a little bit of,
We know what a Moor is, bro. Like, come on.
a little bit of sugar on there, or some moderate of some honey.
Moreno
Paprika.
Dark skin.
Yeah, put some paprika.
Of course it does.
Oh, you niggas started listing all the fucking unapproved shit.
People are just making shit up. We know what Moreno is, bro. skin, black, brown. So you see how black and brown mean the same thing. We're gonna get into that too, man. People coming up with all this different shit to try to make
Yo, you got
all
that?
this
No, I
evidence
don't
to
even want to
make
sing
shit
that
look
song no
easy,
more
and it
because
just doesn't
that's
add up. Because
what that shit is about.
it's just clear as
Oh
day when
yeah,
shit doesn't add
I
up.
forgot about that.
You see so many times, like when these so-called Caucasians and whatever the elites or whoever historians, whoever controls the narrative wants to concoct, compile all these records. They end up throwing stuff out and not needing stuff. Oh, it doesn't connect. But then when you're objective or somebody like us
Got
in the
that, got
brews, we
that
could just see, oh, that
dummy,
just makes sense. That
dummy.
just shows you who's meant to have those understandings and who's meant to rule over those things. Like I said, a lot of that stuff is
Fucking on that dummy, dummy.
so,
Why you still fucking with that dummy, dummy, dummy? Dirty Mac and Anthem. Girl, you got that dummy, dummy. I forgot all this shit recording.
early just
I'm not funny.
okay, so
Thank
that's
you.
how we get to
What? All that fucking crying.
then we're gonna get into the Visigoth kingdom. This shit goes all the way back. So Portugal and all that. We gotta learn who these people
Tell
are.
my daughter, go make your brother a damn steak. Tell my wife, why that boy hungry? Why he still hungry, huh?
Gaelic and come on, man. We're gonna get into all of that, man.
I'm a growing boy.
We know who those people
I am a growing boy.
went all the way up to
I
King
bust in the
George.
house, she says, I know what you're thinking.
The ancestry line.
That's
of
not crooked pop, was it
King
just
George
coke and pop? Cause I'm
III,
drinking ho. Tell me ho.
to King
Oh,
George.
then what the f is this doing in this bowl?
This is the king that America fought
She's
against
just,
and George
I made some
Washington fought. So this will
bacon
give a
for your
lot of
morning
insight into who
waking because I love you, baby.
colonial
Last night I
Americans
wasn't
were
fake. I
in
said,
Jamaica.
listen up.
We got physical
I got
descendants
some
of George
game
Washington,
band
American
around.
connection,
This phone looks
the
good, but
American black
bitch, I want my cereal.
monarchies of
So I
ancient.
put on my
We're
gloves.
gonna start
I
with
can't
King
believe these hoes.
George
Into the kitchen I go.
II.
Bitch, I need my
We're gonna deal
cereal.
with Scotland and King George and
Oh.
I don't know. We're just gonna deal with the Scots, the House of Stuart. That's my favorite because
Bitch, I need my
Farrell
cereal.
was my favorite. I might
Here, the next
add
day,
a lineage
here
to
I
it,
am
but that's
at the
just my
grocery
take, my favorite
store
activity.
with some Cheerios and some milk
Correlation
to
to that,
bar.
this and that, the third, and how
I
we
usually
come to
try
this
protein,
conclusion. So,
but now I'm, at
like
least
I
I used to
say,
try
I'm gonna show you guys
2%,
how I
but now I'm
found
gonna try soy.
images of
I need my protein. I am a growing boy.
King Charles in them. So
There's a lady in front of
that's
me
where
with
we
these
start getting
free
into.
coupons. I said, bitch, do you really need 98 cents off of free
The
coupons?
Jews, the Spaniards, we know what this. Okay, and then we have descriptions of the Spaniards, right? Since we're going from Spain, so that's why we went to Spain too. First of all, my shorty wanted to learn about Spain, but that's what Spain has to do with America. You have the Latinization, you have
Oh, niggas go,
the what do
oh,
you call that shit? The conquistadors and all of that stuff, right?
that dog and that loving, that loving. Girl, I know you're getting bored.
Explorers and stuff like that, right? We learn
Bro,
about
that video.
Ferdinand and yada yada, right?
Nigga was humping that.
And that's where you get the
That
connection
shit is
between
gay.
those
That
groups.
nigga, the
And
the nigga on the boondocks just posed them
the
niggas
youth,
talking about these niggas talking about some damn
barbarians,
thug
right?
loving.
And the Moors. So that's how we get in. And then
I
you have
got that thug in love.
the populations of Latin
Thug in-
America, the
That
black
thug
people
in
of the
love.
Americas.
That's what I always wanted to make some shit like,
the
but not
connections
that
and
song,
we're-
but
this
like
is
the
all to go
Boondocks.
into
Yeah.
Some
it
satire
more, so
shit.
we're gonna get into that. We're gonna go from
That Birdman
Phillip
shit.
to motherfucking nigga
Fuck
Phillip.
yeah,
Man,
If
nigga.
we
Dude.
want to. So that's how we gonna do it.
and
King
my
George.
daddy,
Remember these
man.
names: King George, King Philip, Charles the Fifth. All these niggas.
Daddy, look at
Holy
that.
Roman Empire, basically.
That
And it's
shit was so
also
good.
its connection
Yeah.
with the Americas today, and biblical
Shit.
descriptions of the Jews of the time. And we're just going to get into language. We're going to take what we get now, terms like ruddy, and we're going to connect it.
Cheerios.
So we're going to
It's
start
a
with
milk the
King
boy.
George the Third, and see what this brother. I found some information on King George the Third and how it ripped the band-aid on what we're finding. So that's, I guess, what I could show people is just taking you on the ride of me finding new information and then connecting to the old information
said
that I
she
have,
wanna
and how we
ride.
find these wormholes and we know certain things, and it goes.
She
back
said
to
she
the
loved me.
scriptures and
Yeah.
the
She
Hebrews
said
and
she
stuff.
loved me. She
This
said she
is
loved
where,
me.
how do we
All
know
we do
this?
now
How do
is
we know
fucking
that?
fight.
What does this have to do with that, right? Like, what does
Wow,
King George
wow,
have to
wow,
do?
wow,
Image of
wow.
King George have to do with
She
Israel?
said she loved me. Yeah. She said she
It
loved
goes
me.
into
Hey.
the house of
But
stone.
all we do is
You know, these
invite.
people who wrote the Bible and the descriptions of certain people and certain things and
Wow,
certain
wow,
words.
wow, wow.
You know, we'll get into it all. We'll organize it. So
She said
have to
she
be more
loved me. Yeah.
composed to do this, to do that, because it's more comprehensive.
Tell her mama like,
All it is
when I saw that body, gotta get started. Tell her what the co-op gon' do. Damn them cheek, will you gotta be a kid?
Oh my god.
So tell me what y'all gon' do. I got free, you got free.
Wow.
Say about you happy. I look fly, they jack in. The way your drop top makes me wanna oh wow. I look fly, they jack in. Ooh, the way your drop top makes me. Is your man on the floor?
Bros, I fucking pulled something in my back the other day. Trying to touch the fucking ceiling. Don't get me wrong, I touched that shit. But, nigga, my fucking back. It's not even my bone, it's my muscle.
Some old nigga get up out my ear doing all that, nigga. I ain't feeling wanna do a little something. Ain't no thing sure. Better wear you wearing them jeans, they're turning me on. I'm the hottest thing that's in these drinks. Oh, baby, won't you ride? Make it drop, honey. Make it pop for me. Tick tock on the clock. Don't stop for me. Don't stop doing it. She know that I mean what I say, so she won't stop doing it. And I heard if you can dance, you can bump. Well, playtime is up. Let's go. Let's go. Hey, we can get it in. We can do it in. Do it like the yin yang twins start. Where do you see my eye? Where do you see my eye? Let me fall back. You ain't ready for all that. You sleeping late, real late. Yeah, taking them long naps. Meet friends. We can be friends. Switch and meet friends. Switch. My video series coming on good. To the clock hit morning, you dig? Is your man on the floor? Let me see if you can ride it, ride it. Girl, indeed, get me ride it. Is your man on the floor? If he ain't, let me see if you can ride it. Girl, indeed, I can. You see, girl, I can see you on. Don't believe. Maybe we can slow it down. I can definitely say that I can have you saying again. Oh, I had girls wishing they were you. I know you heard about me. Guess what's going down in Freely? I got twins. You got friends. They have out. You have been, right? I look right. They're joking. The way I drop that make me understand.
About to finish this beat.
Yeah, let me hear that, nigga. Let me hear that, youngin. Hey. Yeah, that's my type of shit, nigga. Yeah. Yeah, nigga, yeah. Baby, just yeah. Oh, 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 a while, a while, a while, a while. Down till the countdown. Till it's my son. Right now. I got 2 phones on me, yeah, right now. Turn the lights down. Then chain on it, turn into a white owl. Got my chain out, yeah, looking like blow. Make a squint, got a bitch looking yow yow.
Yeah.
Y'all mean, you know, y'all mean, hey. Thousands, thousands, girl, I need thousands, hey. Put it in like, That's it in like you inbounding, the look on you is inbounding, in the stands like a nigga scouting, hey, scouting, we gonna boom, kick, boom, snare, snare, kick, boom, snare. We gonna line it up. Hey, matter of fact, hey, that's how we gonna line it up. I tell her boom, snare, snare, boom, snare, snare. Hey, yeah, bitch. That's how we gonna line it up.
Yeah, that's how we gonna line it up. Oh, no. Listen to the headboard beat in my bedroom. Lights up in my room.
Give me something. Let me something. Tell you how it is. How you gonna solve that body? Damn, nigga, this shit smell like good as fuck. What the fuck? You in there whipping up, nigga? I got a lot of steaks in the oven right now. Bling, bling, wow. Nigga mad at me and the nigga come down. Bling, wow, look, bling, wow. Diamonds Illy, you in around. Sorry, nigga. Niggas on the wow. 1, 2, 3, 4, middle of the club right now. Niggas on it, burning on the bird. Nigga mad at me, but a nigga going to work. This shit won't work. I'ma do me, nigga. Don't be concerned. ATL, nigga, yeah, ATL Jacob. I took a diamond down. King of Diamonds, shout out here, nigga, feeling Vegas. Now I'm up in Vegas playing on the poker table. Leave me alone. Fat Gucci nigga, leave me alone. Love my soul. You sleep like a baby.
No, come on, that's a whole different nigga.
I know. Nigga, everybody know I wrote that shit. We hit the bottom of that motherfucker. She want me to hit the bottom of that motherfucker.
Damn. Damn. What burns on my knees?
Man, what? Rug burns on your knees.
Yeah, that nigga was. What you mean? Oh, whoa,
What the fuck?
nah, bro. You get a bitch and doggy. What you mean?
Oh no.
Yeah, what you mean?
Nah, I ain't got no rug burns on my knees, nigga.
Nah, come on.
Yup, 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 yup. Boy, soldier boy. All night. Wow, wow, wow. She got a dope. Watch it the flow. I love the way she move it, the way she's like, oh yeah, going down. I got 5,001. You and you. We about to have fun. Go make it clap. Hey, that right there. That nigga dead. He be like, yeah, boy. Yeah.
Oh,
Okay, yeah. Okay. That's it, man. Yeah. Okay. Yeah, shout it. Say shout it. That's how I knew that nigga was pound for pound.
is it Banks? Nigga stupid. Oh, they got the upstairs. Oh, bro. the only reason,
Wow. Uh,
the only reason I brought up that damn what's that shit? Fuck. That spectacular P.
yeah.
Bro, I was watching the video, and when this nigga, bro, this nigga came out the shower. Bro, it's just on some just towel type shit.
Yeah.
Bro, that shit had
Bro,
me fucking dying.
bros, when I was young, that shit used to make me be like, what the hell? But
Bro,
bros, that's what everybody like. I'm like, nah, bro, this shit weird, bro. I'm like, what's wrong with these
bro,
niggas, man?
literally, when I seen that shit, I'm like, bro, I can't be the only nigga that find that shit funny. Nigga came out the shower.
But back then it wasn't even funny because that's what niggas was really on. That's what the sad part. Mind you, that's what the hoes used to like.
I'm like, bro, hold on. I just seen, I gotta go on a deep dive on this nigga shit. That's when I found that nigga Instagram. I said, yeah, this nigga still had it. Hell no. Fresh off the clock, he said.
Just let a nigga know. I will have you courtside, not the middle row. All good, love, on the minute though.
Monkey.
I told her, take it down. I really want to take it down. Show you what they feel. Yo, little dude.
Yo.
Head ass, whistle toe, mistletoe, head ass nigga. Whistle while you work, looking at it. So I'm glad I wasn't a grown nigga when this came out. Da da dum dum dum. Da da.
369.
Wow, 369. Oh,
Nigga,
brothers.
18. 18 divided by 3.
Matter of fact, I know what I'm finna do. Oh, we just chilling. We about to get on motherfucking get your laugh on, get your everybody, get your roll on. That used to be this shit.
I'll be right back. I'm gonna go get some.
Oops.
People, and we're gonna prove that out to you right now. Who are these ruddy
So this goes back to
Brown.
what I was saying, but we're gonna start him from the jump. But I have a lot of resources too, but it's good to
A very blessed
correlate
day,
these
everyone.
things and see somebody
Greetings
else
to you in the
expound
name
upon the
of the
things,
Father,
have
the
other sources,
Creator, the Most
and dive in
High,
those sources,
Allah, Yah,
so I don't have to be blind and
Elohim,
do a lot of reading
God
my
in our
damn
modern
self.
day name, and in the name of the Lord Thoth, Melchizedek, Jehovah. This is Neophyte DAG bringing you another message. King George II of England, Ireland, Scotland,
Not that
Wales,
it's bad to read these things
Germany,
my damn
and
self.
the
It's just
ruddy people, kings, queens, and leaders in Europe and North
this dude off the
America
fucking chain.
were black. And in this message, we always start with Job 9, verse 24, which tells us the earth, which is America, will be given and put into the hands of the wicked, and the wicked, which are the red Esau and the red horse, will cover all the faces of the judges, which are the leaders, the prophets, and the rulers of the children of Israel. And they shall not know who they are, so they shall be whitewashed by these red beings who have aligned themselves with the wild man, which are the Caucasians. So let's move on. We also focus on Testament of Asher, which tells us that we, the children of Israel, shall be scattered. We were increasingly disobedient to the words, the laws, and the covenant of the Most High and the Lord. So we were repeatedly warned that you shall be scattered and you shall be delivered into the hands of your enemies. But we didn't take it very seriously, and we didn't pay much attention to the things that we were doing that was going to make us be scattered in the hands of the Gentiles. But it did happen because we were increasingly and thoroughly disobedient, irreligious, and corrupted ourselves with all kind of evil things that we took on, that the Gentiles brought to us. We brought it to ourselves as well because we attached ourselves to the red horse and Esau. So we were scattered among the Gentiles, and we did not know what lands we came from, what tribes we belonged to, and what language we spoke, either in North America, where you were indigenous, and Europe, in which you were also indigenous. Now we go to Proverbs 21, verse 16, which happened as a result of our disobedience and us being scattered. A man that wandereth out of the way of understanding shall remain dead. And that's what we were over these many years. Dead to the understanding of yourself, who you are, the laws, the covenant, and the contract that you had made with the Most High and the Lord. They were all dead, and you withdrew yourself away from knowledge, which brought in Hosea, which says, my people are perished and are in bondage because of lack of knowledge. They did not move to knowledge and understanding. Therefore, I did not move to them. You got to move to knowledge, people. That's how the Most High and the Lord will move to you. Seek ye knowledge over all the other things that you're seeking right now. 2nd Ezra 10, verse 30 also kicked in. And I lay as one that had been dead, and my understanding was taken from me. So that's what we were, and that's what we were under during the time of our academic frauders running around because they know we were in a fallen state at that time, and they know that we weren't approaching the time limit in which we were going to be scattered. And so they took full advantage of making sure they deliberately deceive, plagiarize, fabricate, tamper evidence, and suppress unwanted data that was going to free us before the time. And they stole our identity. Your entire identity was stolen.
Yeah.
And on top of the academic fraud, menticide kicked in, systematic and intentional undermining of a person's conscious thought, because they knew you were consciously now, but you were subconsciously dead, which is the spirit. So the conscious mind, they took it and they brainwashed that mind. The subconscious mind, which connects back to your soul and your spirit, they know they couldn't touch that. But one day, the Most High and the Lord promise they will wake up the subconscious mind and destroy all the academic fraud and the menticide that we were under. So welcome to the life of no menticide, no academic frauders. We don't need you to validate anything. We'll find that information ourselves. King George II of the Hanover line of kings and queens of England, Ireland, Scotland, and Wales, 1727 to 1760. He was also electorate of Germany, because that's the German line that's ruling the England line of people. But they were also of the English descendancy, because they are the family closely related to King James, the Stuart line of family. It's just a cross between the Stuart and the Georges, but they're still one of the same people. Don't be fooled by any of what you're reading. Otherwise, King George, he was born in Germany of the Hanover and the Stuart line of family. They combined those two families in order to prevent England, Ireland, Scotland, Wales, and Germany to become Roman Catholics. They wanted to maintain the Protestant religion. So they brought in the Germans to rule England, Ireland, Scotland, and Wales, so they wouldn't convert to Roman Catholic. He's the great-great-grandson of Black King James the First and the Sixth. His father was a black man, King George I. I've covered that message. Go to that message and you'll see King George I, he's a black man as well. His mother, Sophia Dorothea of Celle, she was a Huguenot, a black woman. All the Huguenots are black people. You might see a whole bunch of Huguenot words in the United States of America, and you're thinking it's Caucasian, Gentiles. No, it's not. These are all dark-skinned people, but they're of the French line, and they're called Huguenots. He banished and deported the last of the Jacobite rebel to Antigua and the Martinique. That's what he was responsible for doing. He was fighting with the King James line, who wanted to take back the throne and convert England, Ireland, Scotland, and Wales to Roman Catholic. And he said, no way, no way. He banished them all, tried them, convicted them, hanged some of them, and the rest of them he sent to the Martinique and Antigua. Others went to the United States of America. Others went to Jamaica. Others went to St. Kitts. They're all over the Caribbean and the United States of America. These dark-skinned people from England,
and that's
Ireland,
when I add my
Scotland, and
references to confirm
Wales,
that
they were all banished as part of the Jacobite rebellion. This is the line of the George family. They're all dark-skinned people, black people, all the way up until the mid-1800s, when they started to mix with the Saxton Cockburns. That's when the line started to change over to Caucasian. That didn't occur until after Queen Victoria. After her time, then it started to mix even more. But Queen Victoria was a black woman. Don't be fooled by any pictures that they throw in front of you. The research has been done. The menticide is over. And the academic frauders have received their retirement paper. We don't need your frauds anymore. King George I, that's the father of George II. George's skin in this book. George I, Elector and King. Ragnhild Hatton, page 172. George I's skin, sunburned. No, it's not sunburned. The man is a black man. He's so dark. You could pass him off for a Spaniard. So when you hear all the Spaniards discovering America, North America, South America, and the Caribbean,
black like a Jew or a Spaniard.
People. that's discovering these lands. No
I have that.
Gentiles come into play until the late 1800s. Be not fooled. We're here to set things straight. Dark-skinned man, in his mother's own words, he could pass as a Spaniard. He was so dark. That's his father. Still not convinced. His father again, the love of an uncrowned queen, Sophia Dorothea, by W.H. Wilkins, page 19 of that book. He was what? Dark gentleman of Germany, George Louis, the father of George II. Clearly dark-skinned man, a black man. Let's move to another book, The Royal Discord, the family of George II, Veronica Baker Smith, page 19 of that book. George I, a small man with what? A dark skin. A dark skin. He could easily pass for a Spaniard. He was a dark-skinned man. No, he was not a Caucasian. As all the pictures that you've seen on Google, no matter how many crayons you use to cover up the face of the leaders, you cannot get them the color you want it to be, because the facts will catch up with you, because the truth will catch up with the lies. Let's move on. Sophia Dorothea, she's the daughter of a French Huguenot mother. A French Huguenot mother. Let's hear what Mr. Rutledge of South Carolina by Richard Barry has to say.
This is my first time
about
watching this.
Huguenots.
Let's get it.
A swarthy man, that's clearly a Huguenot. What's swarthy? Dark complexion. So any dark complexion French person is a Huguenot. Not a Caucasian man, not a pale-skinned man. No, a swarthy complexion man, a woman is clearly a Huguenot if they're from the French ancestry. Yes, no doubt about it. Let's move on. Let's validate it. The love of an uncrowned queen, Sophia Dorothea, W.H. Wilkins again, page 54 of that book. Sophia Dorothea, she was a brunette. That's not talking about her hair, because the hair, they explain later on, that's the trickery during the menticide phase, and the academic frauders have inserted in book. Let's go to Webster Dictionary, 1828. Brunette, brown. That's what brunette means. It's a German word, brun, for brown. Brunette, a woman with a brown or dark complexion. That's what it means. She was a brown or dark complexion woman. No mistake about that. A French woman, that's why she's a Huguenot. Huguenots are what? Swarthy, dark complexion. Match up, tit for tat. Let's move on. The Captive Princess, Sophia Dorothea of Celle, by Paul Morand. Chapter 12 of that book. George I, he never hated anyone but his mother, his wife, and his son George II. He liked them not. He especially didn't like George II because he thinks the son had more of Sophia Dorothea, dark complexion, so he didn't like it. Unquestionable, the king saw Sophia Dorothea in his son, for the child had her complexion. Whatever complexion she has, the child had. Sophia Dorothea was a brunette, dark complexion woman, so her son had to be dark complexion. Let's validate it. Let's go to the books and validate it. Now we run into the tricky word, ruddy. King George II, written by Charles Trench. We go to that book. Page 6 and page 7, George Augustus, which is his name for George II, known as the Electoral Prince, with a ruddy complexion. What is ruddy, we might ask? I have 1828 Webster Dictionary lined up for you. Ruddy, of a red color or of a bright yellow color. He's a ruddy red or a ruddy yellow. But it doesn't stop there. Doesn't stop there. I'll give you examples of other words they're going to throw in at you during the menticide phase, during the academic fraud phase, to disguise who your people are. Sanguine is another word they come up with, of a reddish brown color, which covers ruddy red. That's what sanguine is, color of dry blood. They also throw in at you florid during that time, which is bright in color, lively red color, which match back with ruddy red. But on the right-hand side of the screen, so you're not confused anymore, I've given you visuals of ruddy at the top, ruddy red. Reddish complexion, reddish hair, reddish complexion, reddish hair, ruddy gold, a light-skinned man with a reddish color hair. That's the ruddy people that they're talking about. But they come back to dark-skinned, melanated people, black people in our modern day time when they start switching around all kind of different titles and all kind of different social status. Royal Discord, the family of George II, Veronica Baker, page 49 of that book. George II, he comes back again. He was what? Ruddy. They keep repeating that word because we didn't know what ruddy meant at that time and we didn't dig deeper. But now we're digging in. Can't give us ruddy anymore and we skip over it. Ruddy complexion, that's what we got right here. But it was told to us, whatever color Sophia Dorothea has, King George II is going to have the same color. So we know he's a dark-skinned brown man. We know that is. And we can match the ruddy with the right color. He's a ruddy red, not a ruddy yellow. Let's move on. Queen in waiting, Jean Plaidy. We're going to talk about Caroline of Ansbach. That's the wife of King George II. Page 156 of that book. Caroline, her colored complexion, a dark-skinned woman married to a dark-skinned man, having dark-skinned kids. We're going to cover that soon. Now we go to his mistress. George II was a woman's man, and he made it known to his wife Caroline that he had other women. Page 78 of that book. George is wooing of a young married woman, Amelia Walmoden. She was dark and pretty, and he was madly in love with her, and he kept his wife informed that he was madly in love with her. But Amelia was dark. Now his mistress is a dark-skinned woman, not a Caucasian woman. If you're gonna look on Google trying to find pictures of these people, same book we're on, same book. Now we go to his children. Page 36 of that book. His daughter Caroline was dark. We go to page 92 of that book. His daughter Mary was tall and dark. All dark-skinned kids that he had. No Gentile kids. No Caucasian kids. Regardless of how many times they paid them Gentile Caucasian. We go to page 118. We go to page 118 of that book. His daughter Louisa, who married a king of Denmark and Norway. Louisa, a slim, sparkling brunette. But we covered brunette already, so you can't trick us with brunette anymore. A woman with brown or dark complexion, so we know his daughter Louisa was a dark-skinned woman. Can't trick us anymore. Conclusion. Without a doubt, King George II, the Hanover and Stuart line, King of England, Ireland, Scotland, Wales, and Germany, was a black man. King George II's father, King George I, was a black man. King George's mother, Sophia Dorothea of Celle, a French Huguenot, was a black woman. King George's wife, Caroline of Ansbach, Germany and Prussia, was a black woman. King George's children were all black. Now it moves us to the ruddy people and the ruddy Jacobites that King George banished and deported to Antigua and Martinique were black people, not all Gentiles Caucasian, as you have been misled to believe during the academic fraud time and the menticide time. We go to the Jacobite gleanings from the state manuscript of England. Short sketches of Jacobites transportation in 1745 by J. Macbeth Forbes. Page 48 of that book, page 49 of that book tells you an exact list and description of the 150 rebel prisoners that were shipped from Liverpool to the islands of Antigua and the Martinique, June 30th, 1747. No mistake who these people are. They wrote the list down and they gave it to you. End all confusion as to who is being shipped. And what I've done, I've underlined only the ruddy ones in brown. I have underlined only the ruddy one in their brown color that were shipped as part of the Jacobite Rebellion, 1747. After the rebellion was smashed by King George II, he shipped them off. This is one of the shipment. Only one of the shipment to the Caribbean that was accounted for. Many others went to North America and Jamaica and other countries within the Caribbean, Barbados and St. Kitts. But look to see if you see any ruddy Caucasian. A gentleman came on and made a comment as long as a thesis paper telling me that Oliver Cromwell, even though he was ruddy, was a Caucasian man. Ruddy meant just his cheeks being ruddy, that he has rosacea or something of the sort. Madness on top of madness. We don't need any of your advice, oh Gentiles. The Most High told us your time is up, so we don't need your advice. Don't you know, oh children of Israel, that you are the one who are to preach unto the Gentile? Don't you know I've taken away the fullness of my gospel from the Gentiles? Don't you know that? It's your time, oh children of Israel. I shall move that spirit of slumber that I have put on you. Your time is done. Now it's your time for you to seek knowledge and to get that knowledge. And I shall open your grave and wake you up from the dead. And you shall know who you are in the place where you were being held captive. Ruddy man. List number 3, brown complexion, well-made ruddy. Isn't that what it says? List number 4, Alex Catanaugh, black ruddy man. Isn't that what it says? List number 5, brown ruddy man, Douglas Campbell. Isn't that what it says? Isn't that what it says? Item number 21, Will McLeod. He's a black ruddy. I don't see any ruddy Gentiles. I don't see any ruddy pale skin here. I've underlined the pale skin one in red so you can see that there's no ruddy next to them. None at all. All the ruddies are brown or black. Number 44, John Stewart. He's from the King James family. If his last name is Stewart, he's from the King James line and the King James clan. What is he? Brown, well-made and ruddy. He's not no Gentile or no Caucasian. No way. No way. No way he is. Mary Kennedy, 58. She's brown and ruddy. Brown and ruddy. 60. Eliza Farlin, black and ruddy. The pale is there. No ruddy next to it. No ruddy next to it. That's why I'm taking the time now to walk you through ruddy. This list we're going to cover in another message in more detail. This is the other part of the list that make up the 150 people that were transported to Antigua and the Martinique. So my people in Antigua, you're from royal lines of England, Ireland, Scotland, and Wales that was banished to that country. My people in Jamaica, my people in Virginia, my people in the Carolinas, you were from these royal lines of stewards that were banished from England, Ireland, Scotland, and Wales. Number 99, dark and ruddy. All there. Number 132, George Hume from Edinburgh, a black man. They had to identify him very well. He's a black man, suitable for the West Indies. That's what they wrote. He went to Martinique or Antigua. They're all there right now. During our academic fraud menticide stage, they're telling us all these Caucasian people were shipped to the Caribbean. Where are they in these big numbers that were shipped? Back then that they're claiming, where are they now in the Caribbean? The typical explanation is they intermarry. Didn't they intermarry in America as well? Wouldn't that be the case? Wouldn't they disappear and come all black in America? No, that did not happen because they were not shipped as they were thinking in those big numbers in the Caribbean and America. It was dark-skinned, melanated people. And we're going to prove that out to you right now. Who are these ruddy, aka black people, kings and queens and leaders in Europe and America? They came from Europe and they landed in America as well. Let's talk about ruddy, so you know fully what we're talking about.
How you going in?
Adam, the original
This is why I had to provide
man,
sources so that I could
root
prove what
race
he's saying
man,
true.
believed to be red because of his ruddy complexion. So Adam was a ruddy man. He was red, a ruddy red, and he transformed into a copper color brown in our modern day races. Encyclopedia of Freemasonry, its kindred sciences. That's where that definition came out for Adam, but we're not going to stop there. Let's move on. Again, the examples of ruddy to refresh your mental visual of what ruddy is. Ruddy red, ruddy gold, because ruddy can be of a red color and of a bright yellow color. So there's no mistake as we move forward. Adam and the Pre-Adamites by Dr. M. Dorial. Adam, that is referenced in the book of Genesis, was not, I repeat, was not the father of the entire human race, as you've been told by your Christian religion, but it's not. But he was the father of one distinct group of people, I say, one line of people, I tell you, with certain racial characteristics. Comes down to race, my people. One characteristic. Adam was the father of what we call the Semitic people. And now they give you another Caucasian Gentile running around impersonating the Semitic people, calling themselves Jew, but they are Jewish. They just adopted that custom, but they're not the root race. And I'll explain that to you. Revelation 2 and Revelation 3 call them out and tell you they're going to find out who the true Semites are. Adam or Adama was a generic term, and it meant not one man, not one man, not one man, but a race of man which were reddish in color, reddish in color. That's how we come up with ruddy red.
Yeah, that's not true.
Over his life cycle, he has metamorphed, he has changed his complexion from mixing, and in the modern races now, he's the brown race. Adam has transformed over into the brown copper color race, which was derived from that original root race. The red root race, the brown race derived from it. Make no mistake. When you're hearing the word ruddy, it's talking about the red complexion people who have transformed their color into the brown race of people. No mistake about it. Let's look at the Semitic while we're at it. We won't spend too much time on the Semitic, but the Races of Europe, a sociological study by William Z. Ripley, PhD. This information is locked up in the MIT and Columbia University. They know what I'm telling you. It's no mystery. But it was kept from you during the academic fraud stage and the menticide stage when we were dead. Page 394 of that book. The English Jew are slightly lighter than the Sephardic Jews, which are very dark. When you see peculiar dark, they're very dark, the Sephardic Jews. So the Jews are dark-skinned people, and some of them are lighter as you get up to England, Ireland, Scotland, and Wales. That's how you get the ruddy gold. Semites are dark people. Semites are dark people. And the evidence that they are dark are in the sacred books. Bear out that same thing that I'm telling you, the same original thing I'm telling you, that they were dark. All the evidence is pointing to that. What else the evidence is pointing to? Therefore, they have to be black. They have to be black. Science prove it that they were black people. Have shown another message giving you the scientific evidence. The popular impression that modern day Jews are what? Brunette. Can't trick us with brunette anymore because I've already given you the meaning of brunette. Dark complexion people, brown people. So it's known that the Semites are dark-skinned people. So when we go back here, Adam was the Semitic people, was the dark-skinned people. Not done with them as yet. We're not done. Slavery as it relates to the Negro or African race, based on the Holy Scripture, page 16 of that book. Adam signifying red or copper color. Red or the brown race. Thus, this Jewish historian, he's Jewish. He's part of the Ashkenaz version of Jewish. This Jewish historian, as well as geniuses, know all of this information. Geniuses of the Hebrew language. That's your language, my people. They have taken over as their own. But it's yours. Furnishes us with a clue. They're given all kind of clue, leading to the right conclusion. Leading to the right conclusion that Adam were the red or copper color people. I'm not here joking around, people. Time for you to wake up to who you are and move to the knowledge of the Most High. Seek ye knowledge, and knowledge will be given unto you. Walk to the Most High and the Lord so they can walk with you. Can't stand still no more. Things are moving. Wake up to who you are. You are the Adamites. You are the Shemites, the red and copper colored people. Some of you came from Europe, enslaved your brothers and sisters in North America, and then you were turned upon by the Gentiles and enslaved and mixed in with your brothers and sisters that you were enslaving. And you all were put in one category. Black people or Negroes are colored in 1924. Songs of Solomon 5 verse 10, beloved is white and ruddy. I will explain white to you another day, but don't think it's your complexion. Has nothing to do with your complexion. I'll show you that in a few. I am black, but I am comely. So you can't say Solomon was white and ruddy because he told you in the first verse what color he was. I am black, but I'm comely. Pleasing in appearance. I'm good to look at. I am a very pretty man. I'm black and I'm pretty. That's what he's telling you in Songs of Solomon 1, verse 5. But these are all the references of ruddy in your Bible. But we'll spend some time on Songs of Solomon 5, verse 10. White, as in Songs of Solomon 5, verse 10 is telling you, is not white complexion. White was created as a social status in North America. No one talked about being white. Because white in the scriptural sense means you're purified from sin and you're sanctified. That's what white means. My beloved, I am free of sin and I am of black red complexion. That's who I am. That's what Solomon was saying. Let's move on. Songs of Solomon 1 verse 6, in case you missed it the first time. He repeated again, look not upon me because I am black, because the sun has looked upon me. I have been blackened by the energy, the melanated energy coming from the sun. I am full of melanin. Let's move on to your leaders, because that's what I'm here to prove to you, that all these painted over images are people of color. We go to King Henry the VIII. Dictionary of National Biography talks about Henry. Henry's tall, thickness form, large limbs, and what? Ruddy face. His face is ruddy. So if his face is ruddy, the rest of his body is ruddy. Ruddy red, ruddy gold. That's what King Henry VIII looked like. A ruddy man, so they can't fool us with ruddy no more. That's why I took the time to explain ruddy to you. So when we go through
say he
these
got
messages,
blue-gray
I
eyes.
don't have to keep repeating who they really are. This is King Henry VIII, a black man. The picture that they weren't able to whitewash as yet. Now that's King Henry VIII. Does that look like a white-skinned man or a Caucasian-skinned man? Or does it look like a black man? That's King Henry VIII. He's the father of Queen Elizabeth. The first Queen Elizabeth that they keep telling you is a Caucasian person. No, she's not. Let's go to the life of Elizabeth I by Alison Ware. Elizabeth, she had a what? A swarthy olive complexion. Swarthy means dark skin. Olive, what does olive mean? Olivaster, darkly brown. She's a dark brown woman. Her father was a black man. Evidently, she's gonna come out as a black woman. No Gentiles out there have told us. No Gentiles out there have told us. Sir Francis Drake. John Sugden talks about Queen Elizabeth again. Drake, who met Queen Elizabeth privately, he found her a woman of what? Olive complexion. We just covered olive. Darkly brown, corroborating the first evidence I showed you. We jumped to King James Stewart. We jumped to King James Stewart. That's why I read for you the Songs of Solomon, which says he's white and he's ruddy. Because this author, when we were blinded, when we were in our dead state, tried to confuse us as to what King James and what complexion King James had. Memoirs of the Court of King James I by Lucy Aiken, page 403 of that book. At the bottom it says, Solomon complexion was white and ruddy. So was King James. So we know Solomon was purified of sin and he was a black man. But we didn't match it up at the time when Lucy was putting out this academic fraud. So we weren't able to figure it out. But now we know he's white because he's purified from sin and sanctified. And he's ruddy of a ruddy red or a bright yellow color. Not a Caucasian person. No way at all. King James VI and the Furs. King James VI and the Furs by David Harris Wilson. Page 168 of that book. An Italian observer noticed King James' color, that it was blonde. Oh my, why don't they just say he's a ruddy yellow or he's a light-skinned man? Confusion on top of confusion to lead you off the scent until different when you got back your senses. Blonde is a bright yellow color, is a ruddy yellow. Further down in that same page, another person who saw him, Arthur Wilson, an historian, wrote King James was of a ruddy complexion. So if he has a blonde color and he's of a ruddy complexion, it gets him into ruddy yellow, as I've shown you what a ruddy yellow person look like. Can't be fooled anymore. Memoirs of the Court of King James talked about King James again, giving you another description, further confusing you, telling you he's fair and florid. That's why I gave you the florid description, that it's a reddish color. Fair doesn't mean that he's a Caucasian. It means he's free and clear of smallpox that was hitting everybody at that time of King James' line of families. Smallpox was a big outbreak and everyone was getting it. So if you didn't have smallpox, you fell right into definition 1. Clear, free from spot complexion. That's why he's fair and florid. Florid is his true complexion. Fair is just a description. He's of a ruddy red, they're telling you. Moving on. Alan Massey, the Royal Stuarts, page 114 of that book. It tells you this man looked like a Stuart king, tall and dark. All the Stuart kings have that feature. They're a dark-skinned people. Dark skin can't be fooled no more. That time is done. Wake up, my people. This is King James' picture I'm showing you from a book that he wrote himself, putting a picture of himself in his own book. The works of the Most High and the mighty Prince James, by the grace of God, King of Great Britain, France, and Ireland, the defender of the faith, giving you his own picture. Dark-skinned man, this is not a Caucasian man. Not convinced? Let's go to his other picture of himself being displayed in the National Portrait Gallery of the United Kingdom. The original Jacobite, the original Jacobus. King James, does that look like a Caucasian man to you? Does it? I am asking you. No more. We're asleep. We're wide awake. Cromwell now. We get to Cromwell because a lot of people have gotten into this uproar that I'm saying Cromwell is a black man when he's not. He's supposed to be Caucasian to let the story stick that he was deporting other Caucasian people to America and the Caribbean. If the glove don't fit, it won't fit. I can't make it fit when it doesn't fit. Cromwell's ruddy complexion. Cromwell's ruddy complexion, as written in Cromwell, the Lord Protector by Antonio Fraser. Cromwell's ruddy complexion. If the shoes don't fit, I can't put it on his foot. He's not a Gentile man. He's a ruddy man. He's also described as sanguine. What did I tell you about sanguine earlier? Of a reddish brown color. Can't fit it. 231 of that book. Cromwell was hideously ugly. He had a big copper nose. I put a copper over there so you see what copper looks like. And a sanguine comes back to the same thing. A dried blood complexion. The man is not Caucasian. The man is not a Gentile deporting other Gentiles to the Caribbean and North America. It's a black man deporting other black people to North America and the Caribbean, and there were some sprinkles of Caucasian in it, but the main body of people that he was moving from one location, scattering from one location, were other people of color, other black people. Still not convinced about Cromwell. We're gonna go further. Cromwell, the Lord Protector, Antonio Fraser. Same book, page 577. Someone else who saw Cromwell. Ruddy face with a big nose. That's how they described him. They described him as sanguine. Again, people who actually saw him, not people coming up with all kind of self-made idea. Don't rely on your own self-conceit, oh my Gentile. The only thing you have to rely on, the only thing you can rely on these days is the Holy Spirit to guide you in truth. Be not deceived by your own self-conceit. A man who relies on his own self-conceit, a woman who relies on her own self-conceit, as a fool for an instructor. Repeat that to yourself when you try to rely on your own self-conceit. He was a ruddy man. We identified Ruddy as a black man. He was a sanguine man. We identified sanguine as a black man. Still not convinced? Let's move on some more. Oliver Cromwell by Peter Gone. He left a picture that came close to the complexion of what Cromwell was really. Page 125 of that book. Cromwell by those who worked with him. Sir Philip Warwick worked with him and recalled what Cromwell looked like. His countenance was reddish, not rosacea-ish. Reddish in his sanguine complexion, a brown color complexion. That was Cromwell. He can't be Gentiles. The shoes doesn't fit. You can't put it on his foot. You have to come with the evidence. If you're going to convince the children of Israel, you got to come with receipts on top of receipts. Charles I by A.E. McKilliam, page 139 of that book. Cromwell entered Parliament at the beginning of Charles I's reign. He was the one who started that whole Jacobite conflict. He beheaded Charles I and that triggered the Jacobite conflict in England, Ireland, Scotland, and Wales, and that lasted from the mid 1600 to 1745, almost 100 years of war between the Jacobites and whoever was ruling England, Ireland, Scotland, and Wales at that time. But let's move on. Cromwell, his complexion was muddy and sallow. How can a Gentile man, how can a Caucasian man have a muddy complexion when mud means dark? How can he have a sallow complexion when sallow means yellowish, dark yellow? The man is a ruddy brown, not a Caucasian. Charles I, a study by Walter Phelps Dodge, page 48 of that book. Cromwell, his face was swollen and what? Dark. The man was a dark-skinned man. Let's not hallucinate anymore that he's a Gentile, a Caucasian. The shoes won't fit. Got to throw out that shoes. No more menticide. No more academic fraud. That can't work no more. Moving on. Dictionary of National Biographer. We're going to go to Queen Anne, which was one of the descendants of King James, because they have her as ruddy as well in this book. Queen Anne is described by small a has her complexion ruddy, but we can't be fooled by ruddy anymore.
That's
How
King
many
George
ruddy
mama,
people have we ran into and they turned out to be black? How many so far? And the list just started. Let's move on. Lady Queen Anne by Margaret Hodges, page 206 of that book. Abel Boyer gave a clinical description of Anne. Her complexion, sanguine and ruddy. Mistake? No! She was a brown-skinned woman.
Right.
Sanguine and ruddy come back to the same thing. Moving on, Queen Anne. Cambridge under Queen Anne.
Oh, this got
page
it.
368 of that book. Edited by J.E.B. Mayor. We saw the Queen. She was copper color. The Queen was copper color. She was a black woman. The shoes don't fit on her as well. We got to throw that shoes out. She is not Caucasian. Now we move to America.
This nigga did it all, ain't it? Shit.
That it was happening in Europe and in North America, where people were being classified as ruddy during the time of our academic frauds and our menticide, our brainwash. And we didn't think a second that they were being deceptive to us. Black Colonel George Washington of the colonial states of America versus Black King George III of England, Ireland, Scotland, and Wales. Let's move in. Martha Washington, First Lady of Liberty by Helen Bryan, page 85 of that book. George, he was ruddy complexion. George Washington, he was ruddy complexion. We already know what ruddy is. He's a black man. Let's move on. Mary and Martha, the mother and the wife of George Washington by Benson J. Lossing, page 105 of that book. Washington, his complexion was florid. Good thing we had that prerequisite where we describe what florid is, so we can't be fooled now. He's a ruddy red complexion. That's what they're telling you. He's a dark-skinned man in our modern day time. Let's move on. Washington, George Washington, a biography by John R. Alden, page 11 of that book. A British officer who met Washington had reported that he was what? What was he again? Dark complexion. That was Washington. He was a black man. People, come on. People, come on. You gotta take off those blindfolds and know what's going on around you. Those forces of red, Esau and the red horse, which is the Luciferic beings in high places, low fourth, second dimension, running games on us. But the time is done. The most I told you, the blindfolds are off. George Washington, a black man a black complexion man. Let's prove it out. George Washington, a biography by Douglas Southall Freeman, page 239 of that book. Van Horn, description of George Washington, was a tall, dark man, a dark officer of the American Army. The only officer in any way that answered the description of Van Horn was Colonel George Washington. He was a dark-skinned man. He was no Caucasian man. He was not a Gentile. It's all a lie, my people. It's all a lie. Page 240 of that book. Loudon asked Kennedy for a description of the Virginian. Kennedy said, Washington said the captain was a black complexion man. He was a black man. Time to end the foolishness. George Washington was a person of color. Why can't you find any of his family now? Why can't you have any of his family showing up in all these celebrations, bicentennial celebration? Because they're black people that have been mixed in as Negroes, colored, and black after the 1924 Racial Integrity Act. They lost their status as white social status. They became black and mixed in when the Gentiles took over. Let's move on. King George III, who was fighting with George Washington of America. This book of King George III by John Brooke, page 288 of that book. King George, the most prominent feature of his face was what? A large nose, thick lip, and his ruddy complexion. Man, what a way everyone who's ruddy end up turning to be black. Is it a coincidence? No. It's consistently using that word to bypass telling you that the man was a black man. He was a person of color. He was a dark-skinned man. So they use the word ruddy to disguise it. But now the blindfolds are off. The Most High has woken up the spirit of truth among his people. Let's move on. A Royal Experiment, The Private Life of King George III by Janice Hadlow, page 120 of that book. George is sanguine complexion. We already covered sanguine, so you can't fool us with sanguine. Comes back to ruddy again. Reddish brown complexion. That's sanguine. That's George III, the King of England. George III, a biography by J.C. Long, page 66 of that book. George III, he had a thick lip, corroborating what we just read. His father, Frederick, was dark complexion with what? A Moorish appearance. The man was a black man. That's his father. That's his father. Frederick was a black man. It. Obviously, his son is going to be a black man as well. But his son had a high yellow color, high coloring. He was a light-skinned black man. That's George on page 67 of that book. Dark-skinned people being kings and queens. England, Ireland, Scotland, and Wales. And the new country in North America, the United States of America, also another black man as the leader. Beethoven, as I know him, because they didn't only restrict it to leaders, everyone who is of color, who was doing great things in England, Ireland, Scotland, Wales, all of Western Europe, and in the United States of America. They whitewashed them all. So you think every single one of them is a Gentile, a Caucasian person. But I'm here to tell you, no, it is not so. Beethoven, as I knew him, a biography by Anton Felix Schindler, page 454 of that book. Beethoven, his complexion was what? Ruddy. That's the trick word at that time, which disguised everything that you were reading, giving you another meaning. Just as our brunette is used to reference a dark-skinned woman ruddy was used to reference a dark-skinned man. Sometimes they use ruddy interchangeably for a woman, but predominantly it's used for men, black men, to disguise their complexion. They give you ruddy, hoping during the time when we were on the menticide, when we were spiritually dead, we would not research what ruddy is. Time is up on that. Beethoven, a biography of a genius by George Marek, page 49 of that book. Beethoven, he was described as what? Dark brown complexion. He was so dark brown, he was described as a Spaniard. Just like the Georges, when you're dark, that dark, they say you are Spaniard. Because all the people from Spain and Portugal at that time were dark-skinned people. That's what I'm here to tell you, and that's what is going to be told to you over and over and over until you get it. Beethoven, a critical biography by Vincent Dindy, page 4 of that book. The Beethoven family. They're from Netherlands. They're from Antwerp. They're all over Europe. Page 5 of that book. They were dark brown complexion. That's the complexion that Beethoven had. His parents were dark complexion. He was dark complexion too. And that earned him the nickname, the sobriquet, the Spaniards, the way he was so dark. Black people can't be any clearer. Can't be any clearer. Which moves us to the American Civil War. Which moves us to the American Civil War. Black President Abraham Lincoln of the United States versus Black Confederate leader Robert E. Lee of the Confederate States of America. If you're Gentile, if you're Caucasian, and you're in the South, click off right now because you're not going to like the rest of this message. It's not going to be pleasing to you. Let's jump in. Abraham Lincoln made statements in his own words, in his own autobiography, that's locked up in the Library of Congress, telling you who he is. If any person require a description, a personal description of me, and they thought it desirable to know it, he said, I am a dark complexion man with coarse black hair, with nappy hair. He's telling you he's a black man with nappy hair. In his own words, locked up in the Library of Congress. Not telling you anything that's not known. Not telling you anything new. It's been there, but it was hidden from us because we were blinded. Letters and telegrams of Abraham Lincoln. He had his letters and his telegram put together in a book format. Page 119 of that book. Page 120 of that book. Talks about Abraham talking to people, writing them a letter. Do you remember that long black fella? That was me, Abraham Lincoln said. I was that fella. Do you remember that long black fella? That was me, Abraham Lincoln said. Moving on, Abraham Lincoln by Benjamin P. Thomas. Chapter 7 of that book, Echoes of the National Conflict. Lincoln, page 131. His skin was dark, and his hair was unruly. His hair was nappy. He had coarse hair, not the straight hair as you see in all these pictures, and the Caucasian complexion as you see in all these pictures. He was a dark man, just as how you see in this picture. A black man, just as how you see in this picture. Moving on. The story life of Lincoln by Wayne Whipple, page 43 of that book. Abe was now in his 50th year. His complexion was what? Very swarthy. We covered swarthy already, so the job is already done. We know it's a dark-skinned man. We need not go any further. He's a black man. Walt Whitman, a biography by Milton Meltzer, page 92 of that book. Walt said he saw the great Abraham Lincoln. Walt said he had a great view of Lincoln. Walt said he had a view of
Whoa.
Lincoln. His dark brown complexion. He's a black
I
man.
feel him. Once
Page
you get through these,
108
I'm
of
like,
that book.
yes.
Walt
Hell yeah.
often come across Lincoln and wrote of this account. I see very plainly Abraham Lincoln, dark brown face. Make no mistake, Lincoln is not a Caucasian man. Lincoln was a black man running United States of America. They were all black people running it from George Washington time, all the way up to Abe Lincoln time, all the way up to the mid-1800s. That's what I'm here to tell you. Prove me wrong if you can. Moving on.
If you
Moving
can,
on.
nigga.
Black President Abraham Lincoln. Dear Mr. Lincoln, letters to the president, edited by Harold Holzer.
Oh,
Vile
my
threats to the black nigger. Vile threats to the black nigger. Written by this angry Southerner, February 14th, 1861. Abe Lincoln, you are nothing but a goddamn black nigger. That's
my
what
God.
Mr. A.G. Fricks decided to write to Abe Lincoln in his anger that Lincoln was trying to free up the Negroes, which are still dark-skinned
Bust my
people
ass.
that were indigenous to America.
No.
The other dark-skinned
That
people
little
that
gay.
were indigenous. The Negroes, which are still dark-skinned people that were indigenous. Vile threats to the black nigger. Vile threats to the
Go to hell
black
and bust my
nigger.
ass.
Written
So
by
my-
this angry
Come on, boy.
Southerner, February
I will
14th,
take goddamn
1861.
goddamn
Abe
Lincoln.
Lincoln, you are nothing
Who would
but
like
a
you,
goddamn
goddamn
black
you, excuse me for
nigger.
using
That's
such-
what Mr.
But you need it.
A.G.
You're nothing
Fricks
but a
decided to
goddamn nigger.
write
Oh
to
my
Abe Lincoln in
God.
his anger that Lincoln was trying to free up the Negroes, which
Some
are
type of
still
faggot.
dark-skinned people that were
Right.
indigenous
Like
to
what damn
America. The other dark-skinned people that came from Europe enslaved them and
I do
didn't
have this
think
book right
it
here.
was necessary to free them from their slavery. Dark-skinned people enslaving dark-skinned people, and they were upset that Abe Lincoln decided to let the indigenous go. They decided to call him a black nigger. How can you call a Caucasian man a black nigger if he didn't have that complexion? Abe was a black man. This letter, never before published in its entirety, was discovered where? In the Chicago Historical Society.
Wow.
Your records, all your records in Europe and America, hidden in vaults and secret
Wow,
places.
this
But the
confirms-
Most
bro,
High
this
is
about
gonna
to-
expose
about to shoot a
all
whole
that's in the
damn-
dark.
A whole damn series for me, because this shit confirm a whole damn lot.
To come to the light. You're no longer in control of suppressing data. You're no longer in control of putting out algorithm to hold that message from going out. The Most High is taking over. Now we move to Robert Lee. We move to Robert E. Lee. A Life of General Robert E. Lee by John Eston Cook. Page 346 of that book.
That's what my
What
mom
did it
was
say?
asking me.
Read it for me before I read it. Read it for me before I read it. General Lee was what? General Lee was what? General Lee was Ruddy. That's the Southern Confederate States leader. The Southern Confederate
And he was married to a black woman his
leader
damn
was
self.
a ruddy man. He was a ruddy man.
was with a black woman?
Don't let the Gentiles or Caucasian
He was
fool
married
you
to George
anymore.
Washington's,
that it was
granddaughter.
white
Oh, wow.
I mean,
people
stepdaughter,
controlling
sorry.
America. White was a social status developed by the dark-skinned people in America to prove that they were more purified, free of sin than the indigenous dark-skinned people that were already living in America. They created a social status of it, purified versus unpurified. not complexion, until 1924, when the Gentiles, the Caucasians, moved in and took control of the United States of America. They made it into color. Change all your books, all your history, hid it in vaults, and burn whatever they could, so truth will be hidden until different. When the most I say, it's time to bring the truth out. Robert E. Lee, a portrait by Margaret Sanborn, page 389 of that book.
So many
Lee,
sources.
as it says, Lee, Federal General George Forsyth,
These is books
who
we can
saw
go
Lee,
get, you know what I mean?
who saw Robert E. Lee, wrote in his notebook, a clear ruddy complexion man. Ruddy yellow or ruddy red. That's what Robert E. Lee is. A ruddy man. Coincident, all these ruddy men turning up black? No, because they were black. That's the trick word that they would put there to disguise complexion, just as how they put brunette to disguise the complexion of the women. But Lee was a ruddy man. Moving on, Robert E. Lee, a biography. Douglas Southall Freeman, volume 1, page 98 of that book. Lieutenant Lee, ruddy complexion. Lieutenant Lee, ruddy complexion. Lieutenant Lee, ruddy complexion. Page 450 of that book. In appearance, one fellow traveler who saw Robert E. Lee, who saw General Lee, said he had what? A florid complexion. You remember that tricky word? The one that they used to substitute ruddy? Same meaning, same thing. Robert E. Lee was a black man, as I told you, oh Gentiles, oh Caucasian. If you're from the South, click off, it's gonna get worse. Click off, it's going to get worse if you don't want any truth today. Let's move on. Robert E. Lee, The Man and the Soldier, a pictorial biography by Philip Van Doren Stern. Page 237 of that book. 237 of that book. Mistress Lee noted about her husband. She must know what her husband looked like and what complexion he had. She noted what he looked like. His complexion was florid. She said his complexion was florid, which is the same as ruddy red. That's what he looked like. That's what he looked like. That's what his complexion was. Mistake not. Consistent though. How many receipts have you gotten about Robert Lee so far? All saying the same thing. How many receipts have you gotten so far about ruddy, sanguine, and florid? All coming back to the same thing. A black man, a black woman. Robert E. Lee, The Southerner by Thomas Nelson Page. 274 of that book. General Lee, as I recall. That's what the protagonist is writing about General Lee. General Lee, as I recall him, he must be recalled by thousands of people and remember him as he is and stop lying to the people. But the lies won't work anymore. His florid complexion on page 275. His florid complexion. He was a black man. The earth, America, will be given into the hands of the wicked, and they shall covereth the face of the judges, covereth the face of the leaders, covereth the face of the prophets, covereth the face of anyone doing anything important, which is of color. Robert E. Lee, a biography by Emery M. Thomas, chapter 6 of that book. I must get away from here. Lee was tall and what? Lee was tall and what? Lee was tall and dark. That's why I told you, all Caucasian. Click off if you're from the South and you don't want truth. Click off if you're from the North and refuse to accept truth, because all these people were dark-skinned people. Lee was tall and dark. He was a dark-skinned man, not a Caucasian man, not a Gentile man, none at all, none at all. Robert E. Lee, these are his true portrait. Robert E. Lee, these are his true portrait. General Robert E. Lee, his true portrait. Icon for a nation. A dark-skinned man. a black man. Does this man look like a Caucasian complexion man? I say, does this man look like a Caucasian complexion? Not at all. Not at all. That's what I'm here to tell you, that the deception is over. We know who these people are. We don't expect you to come forth and give the truth, because the truth wasn't for you. It was for the people of Israel. Those who want to accept truth and move into the plan of the Most High. Because the truth, as it says, shall set you free and let you know you're part of something bigger than what's going on right now. Next message, we shall cover the black
This
Stuart
nigga going
royal
in,
friends
bro.
and family and acquaintances that were deported from England, Ireland, Scotland, Wales as part of the Jacobite rebellion from 1649 to 1745. All the Jacobite rebellion, of all the dark-skinned people, of all the ruddy people, of all the swarthy people, of all the sanguine people, of all the florid people, all the brunette people that were moved out of Western Europe into United States of America, North America, and the Caribbean, Jamaica, Barbados, St. Lucia, St. Kitts, St. Christopher, Antigua, Martinique, all parts of the Caribbean where they were spread out, scattered. Now it's time for the gathering and be part of the great exodus that's coming back to you. Stand strong, O children of Israel. Stand strong. Stand strong, O children of Judah. Stand strong. Stand strong, O children of Jacob. I say stand strong in the name of the Most High. Allah, Yah, Yod Het Vahu Het. Elohim, you him, we him. God in our modern day name, and in the
No,
name
Book
of
of
the
Enoch.
Lord. Though
Oh, what the?
Melchizedek, Jehovah, praise
I
be
told
unto
you he'd be
you
on point.
always. You have woken up and started the gathering of your
That's
people.
how you know the Most
The
High,
time
bro,
for the Exodus is
makes the
near.
knowledge like a
Praise
puzzle,
to you
because
forever and
you're
forever,
not gonna get it all from one
always.
source.
Right, you can't disagree with everything. I mean, I seen that off his profile, but it's a little thumbnail. But
But you see what I'm saying? The average person ain't gonna be able to sit through that, bro, and get all that knowledge.
right,
The information to get knowledge, so man, that was good. He got a lot of sources in that.
hmm
So if you want that, you want to go through, I mean, you could just watch this back, but King George, Black King George. And that one, and then he got this one, King George II. We're not gonna watch that one, but or I might watch it, but yeah, he got King George I, descriptions of him, King George II. So he got all this other bullshit. Black Queen Anne. So Queen Anne, that's whose mom? I think that's George III, George the First mother or something like that. Daughter of King James. So yeah, that's all you gotta look. Black King Charles II. You got black people from Wales, from Scotland that were kidnapped. So he gets into the history of that. Oliver Cromwell, which he got into. Abraham Lincoln, the damn, well, Abraham Lincoln is pretty much, and one of the Georges, their dad was compared to Black like a Moor. So
Mm.
I would start with shit like that, you know what I mean? Because, you know, people can get tricked. They're not going to be, oh, well, I mean, ready, that doesn't really prove how do we get ready and Black. But then when you prove like, nah, this nigga's dad was Black.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
That kills it.
Mm-hmm.
We already know, you know what I'm saying? But that kills it. That confirms it. George Washington. These are all different sources, you know what I'm saying? Well, I would go with King George all the way, because that's how you get into the line of King Charles and them. Which he has a video where he got into King Charles V.
My melanated people of color, you were the ones doing the enslaving at the beginning, enslaving your brothers.
Oh, and he shows that these people had slaves. This dude has he has some good ass sources.
And your sisters that were native to America because you thought you were more pure in your religion that gave you the right to rule over your dark skin.
So that confirms what we think. The colonial came and enslaved the indigenous
Brothers and sisters that were in America. You, oh European dark-skinned people, classified your brothers and sisters that were native to America as infidels from a religious standpoint and savages from a cultural standpoint. And you thought it upon yourself that warranted that you ruled over them. And then you created. And then
he has a link for the download to the booklets. So you can get the PDFs he's using. See, so I believe George Washington was Black, but where's the specific? Nigga, did you not watch the last one? Nigga, I'm not going to play these games, nigga. What he kept saying.
Oh.
Nigga. That's how you get your resources up, you feel me? Because this is going to have all the... Oh, look, see? Everything is here. I damn near don't even got to watch this shit, but look, he got the chronological order of the kings and shit. He got all the books right here. So all you got to do, search the books. It has the page numbers, you know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? That I mean. History of George Washington. So you can order the physical copy of these books, huh?
That's he included that on the YouTube link?
Yeah, on all of them. All of them he does. Like I think he put some, if not in the description, he definitely does in the comments.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, no, he has it right here. Yep.
Oh yeah.
Then he has everything. Oh shit, he has it all right here. Oh, he has the straight up sources. Wow. Wow, fucking wow.
Good.
So,
sheesh.
And they usually all do that, you know what I mean? And I got a whole history playlist, bro. So it's in my spare time when I'm not doing it, I'll just be in the zone, just watching shit. You know what I'm saying? Might not even be breaking shit down, but watching it. Just so if I have some comments or if I go into multiple videos, I don't gotta send you the multiple videos, you know?
Mm-hmm.
You could just see exactly what I watched. So we got here, look, King James, Stewart, Swarthy. So look, he got stuff that shows King James is Swarthy. I think I've seen this already, but I'm gonna go through all of this shit, you know what I mean, and find all these sources and get ready to compile my series and organize my series with where I want to even start. The Black Dutch, the Moors, you got the colonial soldiers of Virginia, you got the Acadians, the Huguenots, the Moorish, Jamestown. So a lot of American shit. The West Indies. The Native Americans celebrating Passover. Ireland, you know what I'm saying? The Phoenicians, like the history of Ireland, right? And that connects with what the Holy Roman Empire, the Moors. And this is some other shit about who's running America now. Mexico, the Revolutionary War, like we said. Yefeth being black. Because like that dude, he's teaching that Yefeth is the Gentiles, which is the white man. Well, we have proof that Yefeth is black. So this is just overall.
Mm-hmm.
Black Germany. Oh, family crest. So this dude, he goes into KMZ. He be on Chronicle shit, but he goes into the actual crest. He has the Book of Arms, the coat of arms and shit.
So here's another variation of that stupid story. So the legend says that a landowner, Abraham from
I think we
Bavaria,
watched this together, right?
Think so. Yeah, I think.
About him
I know we
killing the
watched
bear.
something with this dude though, for sure.
Yeah, this nigga, he on point. He's the one that linked me to the other dude.
which was founded by his father, Hugh
What
Capet.
the
Now
fuck?
his father was king of the Franks from 987, then Robert the Pious, or Robert II, king of the Franks. And as we all can see, he's a so-called black locations that
That's
you
what
can
I want to get to is how they end up finding these pics. But I know another dude that knowledge of self, he knows, he details how he traces pictures back. So I'm gonna get into that later, but I'll probably take a break off this damn Zoom and do just some reading for now. I'm gonna go into that, the knowledge of self, do it real quick, try to find some of these pictures. Look at this, Pope Benedict. Look at this. A damn.
Oh.
But yeah, you gotta just, these are things you have to really watch all the way through. Like they damn near on some Chronicle shit.
Yeah.
Yep.